May I request you all to please switch off your phones, and may I request you all to please rise. Honorable Justice K.S. Grewal, Justice Rajiv Bhalla, and Justice Kannan presiding. Please be seated. Today, these enacted proceedings before this staged National Green Tribunal are arising in the case of Khoj International Artists Association, Zuleikha Chaudhari and others versus Union of India and others. The National Green Tribunal has been established for effective and expeditious disposal of cases relating to environmental protection. The National Green Tribunal is not bound the procedure laid down by the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, but is guided by principles of natural justice. The present case is that the petitioners are invoking the jurisdiction under Section 14 and Section 15 of the National Green Tribunals Act 2010, wherein petitioner number 1, Khoj International Artists Association, and petitioner number 2, Zuleikha Chaudhari, are aggrieved persons who are stated to be affected by the inadequate and arbitrary actions and deficient services of the respondent state functionaries. Petitioner number 3, Maya Anandan, being a minor, invokes the jurisdiction of the tribunal as an aggrieved person and concerned citizen about the future of her generation, akin to the case of Aditya Dubey versus Union of India. The prayers made in the petition are in furtherance of the case against the harmful practices of agriculture residue burning being carried out by farmers in the state of Haryana, Punjab, and Delhi, which in turn contributes to the deterioration of the environment and air quality of Delhi and the National Capital Region. The whole activity of agriculture residue burning is in utter and blatant violation of the Environment Protection Act 1986 and its rules, the Air Prevention and Control of Air Pollution Act 1981 and its rules, and various judicial orders passed by the National Green Tribunal and the Honorable Supreme Court of India. The second part of the petitioner's prayer to this tribunal is a declaration of rights of nature as part of Article 21, the right to life of the Constitution of India. The petitioners, via reference to previous judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court, are pleading that life, that is, human life, as interpreted in various judicial, is not the only life, but is one amongst lives of other non-human entities which are interconnected and interdependent for their survival and thus require equal protection and means of sustenance. Naturehood, as an evolving concept, has been given a place in the judicial framework of many countries. The petitioner would be arguing for the declaration of the same in the context of Indian environmental jurisprudence. The representation for the respondent state functionaries present before this honorable tribunal are for respondent number 1, that is Union of India through the Ministry of Environment, respondent number 2, Central Pollution Control Board, and respondent number 3, Commission on Air Quality Management. Respondent number 11, that is an Indian Kisan Union, is also represented before this tribunal.
Who is preparing for the petitioners? Okay. And who is appearing for the state?
Please, my lord, I'm appearing for the state.
And who will be appearing for the Farmers Union?
I will be representing the farmers of the country.
And Mr. Mela,
My lords.
will you please give us a brief of your...
My lords, the petition, as has been described by the court master briefly, we are seeking relief basically on two prongs. The one leg of my arguments is with regard to the harmful practice of stubble burning, my lords. We all know how stubble burning is a part of agricultural practices in the state of Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, and the region, in the close regions, my lord. How it affects the Delhi NCR region, it's the environment, air quality already is severely compromised in Delhi. And after this stubble burning phenomena occurring in the months of September, October, and November, my lords, the air quality goes to dangerous levels from worse. My lords, I am demonstrating the harms of stubble burning, which we all know. Although many directions have been passed by Honorable Supreme Court as well as this Honorable Tribunal, one of the reference I have made in 32, page number 32 of my petition of a suo motu proceedings, whereby this Honorable Court had directed the respondent states to monitor the activities in periodic manner and report them back to assess the impact of their own actions, my lord. But they doesn't seem to be done, as we can see the problems still persist and is sustained at a major level in 3 states, as we see, my lords. My lords, Annexure P3 is a comprehensive study on the air pollution and greenhouse gases, which was undertaken by IIT Kanpur in Delhi in 2015, my lords. My lords, if we can refer to the few pages, if I take your lordships to page number 93, my lords, if your lordship are with me, I'll read from the bullet point as in the center of the page, my lords. The contribution of the biomass burning in winter is quite high, at 17% for...
This is an opening statement, which should be brief.
My lords, I am keeping it brief.
Give you a chance to
Please, my lords.
get the evidence, and later when your closing statement.
Please, my lords. I'll just brief it down, my lords. So in support of this leg for prayer against the directions to respondent states, I am relying on primarily on Annexure P3, P2, and P1, my lords, in descending order. Now coming to the second leg of my prayer, my lords, which is the most pertinent question which we all are facing as humans as well as the stakeholders in the matters of environment, my lords. That is a concept relating to rights of naturehood, or as we call it, rights of nature. What is this rights of nature and naturehood is, my lords, I rely upon a reference of Supreme Court judgment, my lords. It's in the case of T.A. Godavra, my lords. That reference is at page 35 of my paper book. In this judgment, my lords, Honorable Supreme Court has said that we humans are not the center of this universe. We have to coexist in a harmony manner so that we can have an ecocentric model of development, my lords. I'll demonstrate how the policies as implemented by the state are harmful, and rather than leading the sustainable development for our country, are doing the anthropocentric approach of development, which is primarily human-centric, my lords. P1 is another study which in brief deals with the impact of air pollution on domestic animals. It's a foreign reference, my lord, because I couldn't find any study in Indian context which has been undertaken on the effects of air pollution on the domestic animals and the domestic wildlife population of our country, my lords. So, my lords, the impact of these environment, and we have reached a stage when sustainable development as an idea has to move a step ahead. And that step ahead is to recognize the naturehood, rights of nature as a part of the framework of Article 21 of the Constitution of India, because it is not the right to life of humans, but it's the right of life of non-humans, which is equally important to all of us, my lords. In my submission, Lord, this will be my brief of my petition, Lords.
You're the counsel for the state. Okay.
Stubble burning has been a grave concern, especially in the month of October and November. And government has been rigorously taking steps to tackle the situation. Stubble burning is mainly practiced in the Indo-Gangetic plains of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, which, my lord, the government has been working thoroughly to bring up awareness program how to deal with the stubble burning. The stubble burning is is been practicing since many years, but it has gained proportion only in recent years. For this, my lord, the government has been coming up with various solutions such as in situ, ex situ management. In situ is converting the stubble into manure, and ex situ management is setting of industrial units wherein the stubble, the biomass can be converted into biofuel, etc. My lord, also I would like to point out that a commission on air quality management of New Delhi and adjoining areas like Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh was constituted wide notification dated 23rd April 2021, wherein, my lord, the commission identified the stubble burning management and deliberated this problem into series of meetings with associated stakeholders and came up with a framework for effective prevention and control of stubble burning. My lord, the components of these framework are ex situ management, in situ management, awareness, prohibition of stubble burning, etc. My lord. My lord, now looking at the effort made by the government, there has been drastic reduction in stubble burning. The data I have appended with my response, my lord. My lord, say there is satellite generated data. Say, my lord, if in Punjab there were 89,000 count in 2020, then it has been reduced to around 49,000 counts. And in Haryana, my lord, if the counts were 6,900 fire burning events, it has reduced to 3,900 events in 2021, my lord. My lord, speaking of the implementation of the government, there have been extensive awareness program that has been conducted through print media, social media, my lord, through public addressing forum, etc., radios as well. And there, not only this, there has been allocation of funds of around 2,440 crores to deal with the situation and has been given to these states. Not only this, there are 39,000 custom hearing centers dealing with providing the machineries to the farmers so that the in situ management can happen. And also, more than, according to the recent data, I have appended everything with my response, more than 2.1 lakhs machine has been given to the farmers, my lord. My lord, not only this, the custom hiring centers are now available at mobile app for the convenience of the farmers so that they can purchase the equipment at cheaper rate. My lord, while speaking about the scheme, these machineries have been subsidized. The financial assistance of around 50% has, or 50% of the cost of machinery has been given to the farmers so that they can purchase the identified machineries. And also, my lord, 80% of the cost of the financial assistance of 80% have been given to the cooperative societies. My lord, I know there is a problem of stubble burning, but it has reduced drastically. Even if we speak about preventive mode, government has been imposing fines. Lot of FIRs have been registered against the violators. As we see the data of 2022 of Action Plan Report of Punjab, the compensation imposed is around 1 crore 72 lakhs 45,000, which has also been appended, my lord. My lord, in addition to this, state of Haryana came up with the idea of giving incentive of ₹1,000 rupees to the farmers who will not burn stubble. And additionally, they are giving ₹50 per quintal to the farmers who will be making stubble balls. My lord, here the issue of stubble burning is there. Agreed, that is admitted fact. But there has been drastic reduction.
Let us have an understanding. It almost seems like you make a common cause with what he is saying. Stubble burning is a problem. You are trying to, it has reduced, it has not abated though. Now, are we even going on a contest on matters of what he is asking principally of the rights of nature as integral to Article 21? It's for all sentient beings, not merely to human beings. And to declare rights of nature as part of constitutional scheme of things. I suppose we don't have a contest on that. Of the reliefs, we are all one. So what are we now really talking about? Or what he is asking, you seem to be really as you begin. We have a sense of understanding that you're all doing this. And we are stopping stubble burning. We are improving the
Yes.
lot of farmers.
Yes.
What is the contest we are talking about?
My lord, and in near future, my lord, I will establish with my witness, state witness, that in near future, this problem will be completely eradicated. Looking at the graph of decline, it will be very clear by my by my witness, my lord. My lord, also, my lord, I want to add another thing. My lord, speaking of stubble burning happens only in 2 months, that is October and November, and it does not constitute the major chunk to air pollution. There are other factors also, though it is important factor, but there are other factors also, especially in Delhi, that is industries, that has been recognized by Supreme Court also, my lord, especially industries, vehicle, which are making the air quality worse. My lord, as per the data I have gathered, the stubble burning is only for 2 months and it contributes around 17% of air pollution.
Okay, thank
Please,
you.
Please,
Thank you, Ms. Anand. Now, who is for the farmers? Mr. Serene, please, can you let us know?
I would start by respectfully submitting that this case highlights the difference between urban India and rural India. The petitioners, who are urbanites, don't understand the problems of us farmers. Farming has been carried on traditionally for centuries, and our traditional farming was so good that we never had any problem of stubble, much less stubble burning. So it's only when we reached a stage where there was not enough food grain in the country and India was importing it from overseas, the government, with its policies of bringing in high-yielding varieties of rice and wheat, encouraged farmers to grow it instead of our traditional crops, which we're doing very happily. We didn't want to shift, but then because of the policies of the government and economics of the government ensuring a minimum support price for wheat and rice, a lot of farmers automatically shifted. Nobody in the government thought of the consequences of this change. From 3 lakh acres of land under rice in the early 70s, we have over 30 lakh acres today, with the result that the new high-yielding varieties, which produce much greater amount of stubble, has to be disposed of. At the same time, the government says you have to plant your next wheat crop by a certain date, which gives us 5 to 6 weeks to remove the stubble and reuse that wheat, that field to grow wheat. So what else do we do? Government has no policy of disposal of stubble. Stubble is not good enough to be plowed back into the field because it's bad for the earth. So we have no option but to burn it. But the claim of the petitioner is totally preposterous. They're demanding 1 crore rupees costs from us. We are only one farmers' union. There are 30 more in the country. So I will be highlighting that there are defects of implement of parties and that all this stubble burning is the result of government policies. But however, I do agree with that.
You said that you were representing the farmers of India.
Yes, but they have implemented only one of the unions. I said there are 30 more unions of farmers of India. I have members all over the country, but I am only one of those 31 unions. So that is the objection I've raised, a preliminary objection.
Request you to address us about that I come from the south.
Yes.
The whole of northeast, east, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, we are all rice eaters.
Yes.
And therefore, rice growth there in large measure, we do not confront the problems of what you have in Punjab. I'm sure that is going to be also addressed by you. What is happening here about the farmers that do not confront the farmers there?
I'm extremely grateful, Your Lordship, has posed this question, so that I would like everybody to know that this high-yielding varieties.
There's one problem, another problem. It's always Punjab that gets indicted. Not Haryana, not UP, not Western UP. So why and which part of the country do you represent our farmers' unions? And it only happens in October to November.
Yes.
And what about the rest of the year? Even right now, Delhi has 500. the air quality there, so there's no stubble burning.
I understand. My Lord's question is that why is only Punjab indicted and not allegations against Haryana and other parts? And though stubble burning is only in October and November, air quality is not improved even in the remaining part of the year. And thank you, my Lord. I will address that in the course of the hearing. And what I want to actually point out is that stubble burning, as my learned friend on behalf of the state said, contributes only 17% of the pollution. The rest of the pollution is really due to industrial pollution, vehicular pollution, biomass, other waste burning, etc., which we will produce. We will lead evidence by producing experts in this field.
Thank you, Mr. Serene. Now, I think we'll ask Mr. Mehla. Would you like to start with your evidence? Have you got any witnesses? Okay, then produce your witness, please.
With your kind permission, my lords, I'll present my first witness, Ms. Tarini Mehta, on the witness box, my lords.
Ms. Mehta, do you affirm you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Kindly state your profession to this honorable court, please.
I'm Tarini Mehta. I'm an associate professor of environmental law at OP Jindal Global University.
What are your areas of research?
My particular areas of research are rights of nature. I've also done research on environmental crimes, ecocide, and sustainable development, how one can implement and achieve sustainable development.
Ms. Tarini, can you just in brief highlight in the current environmental circumstances, or I would say environmental crisis, what is sustainable development?
Let me sort of put this in context first. When we look at the way in which we are using the resources of the earth, as of now, we are using the resources of 1.5 Earths in the context of use as well as the waste that we dump in the earth, and which means the earth needs 1.5 years to regenerate and recover from this. So in this context then, sustainable development basically is development that is sustainable in the context of years to come, decades to come, generations to come, and also that is equitable. This has been defined then in the 80s by the Brundtland Commission report as a development that caters to the needs of the current generation, but also along with keeping in mind the needs of future generations. So without compromising the needs of future generations. And also development that balances economic interests and social interests with environmental interests. So that's basically how sustainable development is defined.
Ms. Tarini, just correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm not, just elaborate on this. Our environment law, as we understand, or as it stands today, has been primarily, if I say, judiciary-driven environment law. We had acts, we had laws. Only it took PILs to be filed in 1990s that made the enforcement of those laws take in place. So this evolution of our environment law, which is not that old, is there anything missing within it? Or this evolution, is it on right track? How about this evolution of environment law, and what direction should it go further from here?
So first, I'd like to say we should be proud as Indians that Indian environmental law and Indian environmental jurisprudence has actually led the way. Globally, it has pioneered a lot of environmental law across the world, particularly in the context of the right to a clean environment, the expansion of the right to life. So we have a very rich environmental jurisprudence. We also have very rich environmental laws in India, a lot of norms, laws, and we also have our judiciary constantly evolving to the dynamics of the current situation with the rights of nature, judgments that are also coming. So what is actually lacking in the context of India, one could say, is implementation. The most important issue we need to address is implementation. Poor implementation of environmental norms, poor implementation of judgments of courts. That is one area which is particularly lacking, where we need evolution. And the other is, of course, the strengthening of certain norms. So what comes to mind is environmental impact assessment norms. There has been an attempt over the years to weaken them, to reduce EIA requirements for various projects. That needs to be strengthened. And EIA norms also need to be implemented properly. So those are the areas in which I would say our laws are very rich. We need to implement them properly.
Mr. Mehla,
Please, sir.
if you ask a long question, you get a very long answer.
Please, sir.
So kindly be brief in your questioning,
Please,
and witness should also be brief.
Please,
And to
please.
the point.
Yes, so in brief, as your lordship had requested, can you state us what this concept of naturehood is mean?
So naturehood, or the rights of nature, basically means that we are trying to move from an anthropocentric approach to an ecocentric approach, which basically means that we are accepting that human beings are a part of a larger natural world, interdependence of ecosystems, that we rely on this, and therefore comes the rights of nature, which says that ecosystems, the natural world has certain rights inherent in it, which is in line with the ecocentric position, which says that ecosystems are given value inherent, they have inherent value, as opposed to the anthropocentric approach, which says that the natural world, ecosystems are given value on the basis of their usefulness for human beings. So rights of nature is affirming those rights which nature inherently has. The right to exist, the right to regenerate, the right to
Yes.
flourish, and so on.
So, do you see a possibility of these rights of nature finding its place in the Indian environment law framework or constitutional law framework, please?
Rights of nature has already come into the Indian law legal framework. We have judgments from high courts accepting, acknowledging, implementing the rights of nature. The rights of nature has been adopted by constitutions. We have the Ecuador Constitution. We have Bolivia, which has a very extensive law on the rights of nature. We have case law from around the world. The Wanganui River case in New Zealand is a key international case which comes to mind. So there is a lot of precedence within India as well as from around the world, including a recent judgment from the Madras High Court, which talked about the rights of Mother Earth and linked it with the rights of future generations.
So just brief last question, my lords, if may permit, my lords. Only thing is, I'm trying to argue that Article 21, as interpreted by Honorable Supreme Court, has place for these rights of nature within it to be brought within the domain of right to life. Do you agree with me?
Definitely, in the Indian constitutional framework, we have duties on the state, on citizens. The rights of nature framework would aid and complement that. We have the right to a clean environment under Article 21. Right to life cannot be protected without protecting the rights to nature. The dignity which the right to a clean environment wants to protect cannot be protected without protecting the dignity of nature. So there is a framework within which this can be developed in the Indian context as well.
That'll be all for me, my
With
lords.
the permission of the, can I ask one question? How do you dovetail development with the right of nature, rights of nature?
So development, again, the development happening currently is not sustainable. This, of course, we know because of the various ecological crises we are currently facing, climate change, etc. So we need to implement sustainable development, which the definitions are already there. Rights of nature will actually enable us to implement this, because the reason why development is not sustainable is because it is based on a short-sighted view of a man's position and place in nature, as man being the most important species, nature being for the use of man, etc. This thinking. So when we move away from this and we move towards ecocentric
Thank you.
thinking.
Got your.
Thank you very much.
Your witness, please.
You even cross-examine. I thought she was saying everything of what everyone must agree. Not so.
No. What do rights of nature mean in urban context like Delhi?
Yes, well, first of all, whether it be Delhi, whether it be the Himalayas or anywhere in the world, people need clean air, people need clean water. So therefore you need a clean environment. So rights of nature has a place anywhere, whether it be an urban environment, whether it be a rural environment, a protected environment. We need to protect nature.
All right. We all are aware of Uttarakhand High Court's judgment of granting River Ganga personhood right, which has been stayed by Honorable Supreme Court. In your opinion, how, keeping in mind the fact that the Supreme Court has stayed that judgment, how right of nature can be implemented in vast country like India, considering the fact that it is economic and socially complex?
First of all, the Honorable Supreme Court has stayed that judgment on very particular grounds, focusing on the River Ganga, focusing on the administrative complexities dealing with that particular river, focusing on the fact that the petitioner had actually not pled on rights of nature in the original petition. So it's very particular why the Supreme Court said that. The Supreme Court has not overruled the principle of the rights of nature. The rights of principle continues to be implemented by high courts across the country. And to answer your question on how can this be done across India, the answer is the landscape-based approach, which is an accepted approach to the implementation of sustainable development around the world. Through such an approach, one would then be able to implement, on the basis of a rights of nature approach, a sustainable and equitable development model.
All right. Do you have any alternative model to environment impact assessment policy?
No, because environmental impact assessments are in themselves a very effective tool if implemented properly. So what we need in India is the proper implementation of environmental impact assessments. I won't go into details because again that will be a lot of details which your lordships already know about what's happening with EIAs. So we need to strengthen implementation.
May I ask you a question? You said that it takes 1.5 years for Earth to regenerate or recover from the damage caused in 1 year. It takes 1.5 years. So if we are not careful, it might take 2 years, or 4, or 6, or 10. So what is the trajectory at the moment, and which one most important decision that you would take if you had the right to pass a law banning any activity, which one activity or action will you take?
To answer the first part of your question, the trajectory we're on, if you look at IPCC's reports, we are definitely not going to be able to meet the 1.5 degree mark, which means we are heading towards extreme climate events. Already there's about one extreme climate event a day happening in India, so we're moving towards extreme, possibly runaway climate change, which has sea level rise, millions of refugees around the world. There are different numbers, of course. The largest number has been possibly 200 million environmental refugees just because of climate change. So we are heading towards that kind of a scenario. And of course we have air pollution levels. Delhi is the most polluted city. About 1.7 million people die in India every year from air pollution. And that's 1/6 of the global total. So that's the kind of pollution issues we have in India.
One decision would you take if you had the opportunity to decide? One big thing.
I would say, it kind of becomes subsumed. Strategic environmental impact assessments as an overall way to implement policy to decide what should be the development framework for this country, and then within that strengthening environmental impact assessments. That will be an effective tool for us to decide how we need to develop different states, different regions, different localities of this country.
Don't you mean that the impact assessment should be prior to government drafting a policy or enacting a law? That would probably save us the most.
Exactly. So that's the idea of a strategic environmental assessment. The idea is that on a landscape approach, which means that you look at the various competing uses of that particular area, you look at the different stakeholders, you look at different policies, land use, etc. And on that base, you decide what should be the amount of green cover, the industry setup, etc.
Thank you very much.
That's all, my lord.
What I would have thought you may say is stop eating meat altogether, all over the world. No killing of animals.
I would say that that would also be very, very useful, and I'm sure strategic environmental assessment would bring that out too.
Thank you, Ms. Tarini. I'm having another witness, my lords, if I may call with your kind permission. Mr. Manish Srivastav, I would call him on witness box, please.
Mr. Srivastav, do you affirm you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Manish, kindly state your profession, please.
I'm a climate policy researcher by profession.
What are your expert research areas?
My primary research focuses on global negotiations on the problem of addressing climate change.
Okay, just for the context, can you tell us the relationship between ecology and the economy for us?
Well, I think it answer varies depending on how and where you start looking at it from. Ecology की जो समझदारी है साइंटिफिक वो ये है कि जो कुछ भी हमारे चारों तरफ है वो सारी चीज़ें एक्शन रिएक्शन किस तरीके से एक दूसरे से जुड़े हुए हैं और इकोनॉमी जो है वो असल में ह्यूमन बीइंग्स का एक दूसरे के साथ जो रिश्ता है वो कैसे नेचर के थ्रू होके जाता है। मसलन हम अपने सर्वाइवल के लिए चीज़ें पैदा करते हैं, उनको ख़रीदते बेचते हैं, उससे हमारी आमदनी होती है। ये जो पूरा व्यापार है उसमें नेचर एक इम्पॉर्टेंट इंग्रेडिएंट है जहाँ पर हम नेचर से एक्सट्रैक्ट करते हैं, लेकिन वो एक्सट्रैक्शन ऑफ नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज फिर नेचर की दूसरी और प्रोसेसेस को ट्रिगर करता है। तो इस तरीके से इकोनॉमी जो है एक इकोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस का हिस्सा है, इस सेंस में भी कि हम एज ह्यूमन बीइंग्स वी आर आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ दैट इकोलॉजिकल सिस्टम।
So my next question is, how important is sustaining of ecosystem, ecology for a good economic system?
I think it's absolutely necessary. आज की जो एक बड़ा शब्द है सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, मैं थोड़ा अगर हिस्ट्री में पीछे जाऊं तो 1972 में एक रिपोर्ट आई थी क्लब ऑफ रोम की जिसने ये बताया था कि अगर जिस रफ्तार से नए आज़ाद हुए देश अगर उन्होंने जो ऑलरेडी विकसित देश हैं उनका विकास का रवैया अपनाया और उनके जैसा लाइफस्टाइल हासिल किया तो उसके लिए जितने नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज की ज़रूरत होगी तो जो नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज हैं हमारे पास अवेलेबल वो अगले 3 से 4 दशक में ख़त्म हो जाएंगे। तो ये जो है इसके जवाब में फिर बाद में अगले डिकेड में मिड 80s में एक कमीशन बना जिसको ब्रुंटलैंड कमीशन के नाम से जानते हैं और उसने फिर ये टर्म दिया सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट। कोर आइडिया यही है कि अगर आपको अपना जो इकोनॉमी को अगर आप अपने इस अर्थ में देखें कि ये हम कैसे अपने आप को ज़िंदा रखें, कैसे नेचर बेस्ड सर्विसेज को यूज़ करें और कैसे सुविधाएं और पैदा करें, तो अगर उसकी रफ्तार जो है उसकी अल्टीमेट लिमिट जो है वो इकोसिस्टम की वायबिलिटी से है। अगर मान लीजिए ड्रॉट्स आ जाते हैं तो आपका हाइड्रो पावर प्लांट्स नहीं चलेगा। दैट्स द काइंड ऑफ लिमिट टू economic growth and development we are talking about.
What is the relationship, or I would say the problems in the current economic model vis-a-vis the present environmental crisis? Is there a relation at all?
रिश्ता तो बिल्कुल सीधा है। आज की तारीख में अगर हम साइंटिफिक रिसर्च देखें तो एक टर्म आया है जो हिंदुस्तान में उतना कॉमन नहीं है, ख़ासकर कॉमन बातचीत में, जिसको कहते हैं प्लानिटरी बाउंड्रीज। तो वो ये है कि हम बहुत सारे नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज को इस तरीके से एक्सप्लॉइट कर रहे हैं कि उसका जो इकोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस है, पूरा साइकिल ऑफ रिप्रोडक्शन रीजनरेशन है, वो बहुत जल्दी टूट जाने वाला है। क्लाइमेट चेंज जिसमें मैं ज़्यादा काम करता हूँ वो भी एक प्लानिटरी बाउंड्री है कि एक हद तक जो है हम वातावरण में ग्रीन हाउस गैसेस का कंसंट्रेशन बढ़ा सकते हैं, कोल जला के, ऑयल जला के, डिफॉरेस्टेशन करके, लेकिन उसके बाद जो है उसके जो असर होंगे वो हमारी पूरी लाइफस्टाइल को, जिस तरीके से हम अपने डेवलपमेंट को देख रहे हैं कि नई बिल्डिंग्स हैं, मोर प्राइवेट व्हीकल्स हैं, पर कैपिटा एनर्जी कंजम्पशन बहुत तेज़ी से बढ़ रहा है, वो पॉसिबल भी नहीं हो पाएगा।
तो मेरा बस आखिरी जो सवाल होगा इस बारे में, आपकी कुछ रिसर्च कहती हैं कि कम्युनिटी का जो इन्वॉल्वमेंट है, द इन्वॉल्वमेंट ऑफ लोकल कम्युनिटी इन एनवायरनमेंट रिलेटेड इश्यूज कैन बी हेल्पफुल इन restoring the environment and thus the economy. Can you tell this role of economy with regard to the local communities? Can you elaborate on that, please?
इसके दो एस्पेक्ट हैं. एक तो ये कि सस्टेनेबिलिटी का एक लोकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट भी है. अगर आप अपने लोकली अवेलेबल संसाधनों के आधार पर अपनी इकोनॉमी को बिल्ड कर सकते हैं तो वो ज़्यादा सस्टेनेबल है. और इसके लिए ज़रूरी है कि लोग जो उस इकोसिस्टम में रह रहे हैं उनकी जो कैपेबिलिटीज़ हैं, उनकी जो ज़रूरतें हैं, उनमें एक ख़ास किस्म का तारतम्य हो कि आप जितना सिस्टम आपको प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है आप ऑलमोस्ट लगभग उसी के साथ अपना जीवन यापन करें. तो एक तरीके से जो मॉडरेशन है एस्पिरेशंस का, बिहेवियर का, कंजम्पशन का, वो बहुत ज़रूरी है. और वो तब तक नहीं पॉसिबल है जब तक कि पूरा कम्युनिटी, सोसाइटी एक साथ नहीं आएगी, क्योंकि हमारे एस्पिरेशंस भी बहुत कम्युनिटी ड्रिवन होते हैं. पड़ोसी ने कार ले ली तो हमको भी कार लेना है. एक ये एस्पेक्ट है. दूसरा जो बड़े स्केल पर एस्पेक्ट है वो ये है कि एक व्यवस्था है डिसीजन मेकिंग की, रिसोर्स एक्सप्लॉयटेशन की, यूटिलाइजेशन की और प्रोडक्ट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, जिससे एक मैसिव इनइक्वालिटी भी पैदा होती है. फ्रांस के एक बड़े इकोनॉमिस्ट हैं थॉमस पिकेटी, उनकी रिसर्च बड़ी पॉपुलर है कि ग्लोबल इनइक्वालिटी पिछले 30 साल में कितनी अधिक बढ़ गई है, कि टॉप 1% के पास कितना वेल्थ है और बॉटम 40% के पास 10%, 15% भी नहीं है. इस टाइप की इनइक्वालिटी है.
Sir, I am trying to establish, and coming to the next question itself only, is naturehood, the idea of implementation of naturehood, economically viable as far as my arguments are concerned? That
No one is contesting.
I just want to establish that, sir. We are my experts.
There's one question I'd like to ask.
Please, sir, please.
Are you suggesting subsistence economics over consumption economics?
Yes, to a broad extent.
That's exactly what you said. Consume only what you have. Don't aspire for anything more. So if that is not there, then what happens to the economy which is imposed upon us, or economic policies that get imposed? They don't come from bottom up. They come from
Top to bottom.
how many cars to manufacture and how many to sell.
मैं इसी पॉइंट की तरफ आ रहा था कि जब तक एक पार्टिसिपेटरी अप्रोच नहीं होगा हमारी पॉलिसी प्रायोरिटीज़ भी मिसप्लेस्ड रहेंगी.
नेचरहुड का जो एक आइडिया है, क्या ये इकोनॉमिकली वायबल है इंडियन कॉन्टेक्स्ट में? राइट्स ऑफ नेचर का ग्रांट करना.
कल्चरली तो वो बहुत अच्छे से एस्टैब्लिश्ड है, बहुत पुरानी परंपरा है जहाँ पे आप नेचर को अपने परिवार का हिस्सा मानते हैं, आप नेचर को पूजते भी हैं, आपके रिलीजन का पार्ट है. तो वो वैल्यू सिस्टम तो है. आई थिंक जो प्रॉब्लम जहाँ पर है कि हमारे जो वैल्यू सिस्टम जो इकोनॉमिक एस्पिरेशंस को ड्राइव करता है और जो वैल्यू सिस्टम हमारी कल्चरल लाइफस्टाइल को सस्टेन करता है, उसमें एक मिसमैच है. और आई थिंक यहाँ पर पार्टिसिपेशन with different stakeholders would play an important role. I think in this context, the recent mission that Indian government has launched called LIFE is very relevant.
That'll be all from my side. Your witness, please.
How does ecological economics work in vast country like India?
See, ecological economics जो है वो आपसे ये सवाल करती है कि जब आप अपने डिसीजंस ले रहे हैं इकोनॉमी से रिलेटेड, रिसोर्स एक्सप्लॉयटेशन को लेकर, तो आप और दूसरे जो एस्पेक्ट्स हैं, जो सेकंड ऑर्डर, थर्ड ऑर्डर इम्पैक्ट हैं इकोलॉजिकल प्रोसेसेस पर और उनके थ्रू वाइडर सोसाइटी पर, आप उनको भी अपनी डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस में इंक्लूड करें. तो एक बेसिक ब्रॉड कॉन्सेप्ट है कॉस्ट बेनिफिट एनालिसिस का, जिसमें एक तो है मार्केट बेस्ड कॉस्ट, आप तुरंत देख लेते हैं इतने पैसे में इनपुट आएगा, इतने में मैं बेच पाऊंगा और ये मेरा प्रॉफिट होगा. लेकिन जब आप उसमें और दूसरे इम्प्लीकेशंस, जिस तरह मान लीजिए कि अभी कार्बन प्राइस एक टर्म है, या आप देखें कि सीनिक ब्यूटी भी एक आइडिया है वो ख़त्म होने का, तो आप उनको किस तरीके से अपने डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस में इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हैं. उनको आप मॉनिटरी वैल्यू से अगर करते हैं तो वो इन्वायरमेंटल इकोनॉमिक्स का डोमेन है. लेकिन जब आप ये कहते हैं कि दिस इज़ ऑल्सो इक्वली इम्पॉर्टेंट, और भले ही वो मॉनेटरी टर्म्स में आप ट्रांसलेट नहीं कर पाएँ, लेकिन जब आप ये कहते हैं कि नेचर की खूबसूरती भी इम्पॉर्टेंट है, ये आगे हमारे इकोसिस्टम का क्या होने वाला है, इकोसिस्टम की इंटीग्रिटी भी इम्पॉर्टेंट है, और उस बेसिस पर जब आप डेलिबरेट करके डिसाइड करते हैं तो वो मोर इकोलॉजिकल इकोनॉमिक्स की तरफ आता है, जिसको जनरली हम लोग कहते हैं वीक कंपेरेबिलिटी ऑफ वैल्यूज़ इन डिसीजन मेकिंग।
तो आप ये कहना चाहते हैं कि कलेक्टिव एक्शन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है?
यस।
All right. So next question is, are you aware about the budget allocation for environment crisis? And if yes, according to you, what speculative amount should be set aside to restore the environment?
ओके, आई एम अवेयर कि बजट में इन्वायरमेंट के नाम पे क्या फंड्स एलोकेटेड हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, इसी बजट में 35,000 करोड़ इज फॉर ग्रीन इकोनॉमी, बट आई थिंक दैट्स अ रॉन्ग वे टू लुक एट थिंग्स, क्योंकि असल बजट आपका फाइनेंशियल बजट नहीं है। अगर आप सस्टेनेबिलिटी के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देख रहे हैं तो आपका रियल बजट कंस्ट्रेंट जो है वो इकोलॉजिकल बजट है, कि आपकी नेचर की जो इकोलॉजिकल प्रोसेसेस डिसरप्ट हो गई हैं।
The council will be able to even suggest to the government how much of money should be spent. Where does this question lead us to? If you elicit an answer like that, and if he is going to be saying what the policies must be, do we drive policies like that through our orders? What do you secure from us ultimately?
My lord, I only wanted to know his opinion because he is ecological economist, so that is why this question. Yes. So do you have any speculative amount?
I wouldn't really say that.
You don't
क्योंकि
have.
मैं
Yes.
उस अप्रोच
You
में
may
ही यकीन नहीं
probably
करता।
just answer that it could be this way or that.
That's all, my lord.
Mr. Suri,
Questions for you, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Now, from this side,
Yes.
the
Yes, my lord, I have three witnesses. The first one is Miss.
just a minute. Is
sorry.
there no witness from respondent number one? Respondent number one has no witness.
No, they
They come first.
witness.
Farmer Yunus witness comes
First,
first.
Farmers Union?
yes, I think I have three witnesses. They have one.
Yes.
They'll produce them up.
Yes.
Okay, Farmers Union, please.
Yes. Thank you, my lord.
Call your witness.
The first witness is Miss Shweta.
Would we also require, will you be cross-examining any witness who there's, yeah? You will, probably they will cross-examine first before we call upon the other side to cross-examine? Because if they're going to be aligned to one side?
Let them do it in the way they've decided.
Yes, my lord. I think my learned friend, if she has any questions, you'll cross-examine them first before.
No, because I want her to speak. Only then, on the basis of that, I want to cross-examine.
Because you are pitched on one side, the other. So it's better that you cross-examine first before we call upon the applicant side to cross-examine. The co-defendants cross-examine before we put the claim in.
My lord, my question to her is on relation to her initiative, which she has to speak. So that will come in examination in chief. That is, my friend could only ask. So on basis of that, yes,
Let her
yes, that
examination
first chief would
happens, you
happen.
will cross-examine
Yes,
first
yes,
before- yeah.
yes, yes,
That's what
yes,
we wanted to
yes,
make sure.
yes.
Can you state your name, profession, और आप कहाँ से आए हैं?
मेरा नाम श्वेता भट्टर है। मैं पारड़ सिंगा गांव से आई हूँ, जो नागपुर से 60 किलोमीटर की दूरी पे है और मध्य प्रदेश के बॉर्डर पे है। मैं खेती करती हूँ और आर्टिस्ट भी हूँ। ग्राम आर्ट प्रोजेक्ट नाम से हम लोग साथ में एक कलेक्टिव मिलके काम करते हैं, जिसमें कुछ किसान हैं, आर्टिस्ट है, गांव की कुछ महिलाएं हैं जो कि फार्म लेबर है, खेती भी करती है, और कुछ यंग वॉलंटियर्स है। हम लोग सारे लोग मिलके 2013 से अलग अलग आर्ट रेसिडेंसीज देना और खेती से रिलेटेड जो कुछ भी हमारे कंसर्न्स है उसके बारे में बात करना अलग अलग तरीक़ों से, जैसे कि लैंड आर्ट उगाना या मल्टी क्रॉपिंग करना, ये सारी चीज़ें हम लोग कर रहे हैं। साथ में हम लोग देसी कपास उगाते हैं, हमारा बीज बैंक है। देसी कपास से हम हाथ कता हाथ बुना धागा बनाकर राखियाँ बनाते हैं, जो आसपास के गांव के 8 गांव की 150 महिलाएं अपने घरों में बनाती है, जिसमें देसी बीज लगे होते हैं। और हम लोग सीड फटाके भी बनाते हैं, पेपर को और पराली को रिसाइकल करके, जिसके अंदर बारूद नहीं होता है, बीज होता है। तो ये सारी चीज़ें हम लोग साथ में मिलके करते हैं।
तो श्वेता जी, आप मुझे बता सकते हैं कि मल्टी क्रॉपिंग क्या 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 फायदे होते हैं? व्हाट बेनिफिट्स इट हैज?
हम लोग 2016 से मल्टी क्रॉपिंग कर रहे हैं। वैसे तो पूरे गांव में मध्य प्रदेश से लेकर पूरे विदर्भ तक बीटी कपास ही उगता है। जो मल्टी क्रॉपिंग हम लोग कुछ समय से कर रहे हैं उसमें ये है कि फसल हम लोग इस तरीके से उगाते हैं कि वो एक दूसरे की पूरक हो। जो ज़मीन से एक फसल लेती है वो ज़मीन को दूसरी फसल वापस करती है। हमारे खुद के बीज है, हमें किसी कंपनी के ऊपर डिपेंड नहीं रहना पड़ता है बीजों के लिए। और साथ में क्योंकि ये फसलें ऐसी होती हैं जो अलग-अलग समय पे उगती है और अलग-अलग समय पे निकलती है, तो औरतों के लिए बहुत सारे काम होते हैं। जैसे बुआई हो गया, उसका प्रोसेसिंग हो गया, उसका हार्वेस्ट हो गया। और जब ये फसलें एक साथ निकलती है तो बहुत सारा पेस्ट मैनेजमेंट भी उसमें हो जाता है, क्योंकि हम एक फसल जो मेन फसल है उसके साथ दूसरी फसल ऐसे लगाते हैं जिसके लिए बाकी लोग बहुत सारे पेस्टिसाइड्स और केमिकल्स का इस्तेमाल करते हैं। तो और साल भर भी खाने के लिए कुछ रहता है। ऐसा नहीं होता है कि अगर सीज़न के हिसाब से एक फसल खराब होगी तो पूरा का पूरा खेत खराब हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ये मल्टी क्रॉपिंग है। और साथ में बहुत सारी चीज़ें जब एक साथ निकलती हैं तो एक क्रिएटिविटी भी साथ में चलती है कि बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस खुल जाते हैं, बहुत सारे मटेरियल्स हाथ में आते हैं काम करने के लिए।
तो ये जो आप इतना काम किया है, इसका कोई सबूत भी है, एविडेंस भी है आपके पास?
एक सबूत तो जो है वो मैं खुद पहनकर हूँ। ये जो है
इसका बताइए हमें।
ये जो एप्रन है ये मल्टी क्रॉपिंग से जो पराली निकली है उसका बना हुआ एप्रन है, जो कि एक कलेक्टिव डिसीजन मेकिंग से बना है। और यहाँ पे आने के पहले पूरे टीम ने ये मुझे देकर भेजा है। और साथ में एक ईटन कॉटन किताब है जो हम लोगों ने मिलकर बनाई है, जो 2013 से पिछले साल ये किताब बनी थी। तब तक के जो काम हुए थे उसमें उसके बारे में जिक्र है।
Stage lights down. Video Q1.
इस धरती की लाजन कौन रखियो, जब बीज ही बोए हम परदेसी, मेरी माँ की लाजन कौन रखियो, जब बीज ही बोए हम परदेसी। खेत में जब देसी बीज लगाते, एक दूजे के संग खाते खिलाते, पर सत्ता के पीछे वो हुए बदनाम, तब खोया हमने बीज सम्मान पर। सत्ता के पीछे वो हुए बदनाम, तब खोया हमने बीज सम्मान। इस धरती की लाजन कौन रखियो, जब बीज ही बोए हम परदेसी। कपट से जब हरित क्रांति लाई, पूरे देश में यूं शांति फैलाई। किसी कुटिया के दीप फिर बुझ से गए, किसी की अखिया रात सोई नहीं। किसी कुटिया के दीप फिर बुझ से गए, किसी की अखिया रात सोई नहीं। माँ की लाजन कौन रखियो, जब बीज ही बोए हम परदेसी। अब ये भी सुनो धरती।
Stage lights up.
जो किताब आपने बनाई है, इसका क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव है, आप समझाएंगे हमें?
हाँ, ये जो किताब आप देख रहे हैं इसमें जो कपड़ा लगा हुआ है उसके कवर पर, वो देसी कपास से जो हम लोग देसी कपास उगाते हैं उसका हाथ कटा हाथ बुना कपड़ा है। और ये वाला, और ये जो है ये पराली से बना हुआ पेपर है। ये किताब जो है ये 2013 से पिछले साल तक हम लोग जो कुछ भी काम कर रहे थे उसी के बारे में बात करने वाली चीज़ें हैं जो हम साथ में मिलकर सोचते हैं। ये तालाब है इस किताब में जो बार बार आता है, ये तालाब हमने साथ में मिलकर बनाया है। हमारा जो खेती है वो सिर्फ बारिश के पानी पे चलता है और बहुत सारी चीज़ें आती रहती हैं, कभी नहर आ जाती है, कभी कुछ आ जाता है, लेकिन ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल को रिचार्ज करके भी हम लोग बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। हम बहुत सारे बंड्स बनाते हैं। ये है जो आज की खेती दिखती है, सिर्फ कपास, कोई और रंग नहीं दिखता उसमें, लेकिन ये खेती है जो हम करते हैं जिसमें बहुत सारे रंग दिखते हैं और बहुत सारी फसलें भी होती है। साथ में इसमें हम लोगों ने क्रॉपिंग पैटर्न भी डाला है जो हम लोग अभी करते हैं। इसके अंदर कपास, मूंग, कपास, उड़द, कपास, मूंग, कपास, उड़द। उसके बाद एक लाइन जो है हम मिक्स फसल की लगाते हैं जिसके अंदर मक्का होता है, बाजरी होती है, जवारी होती है, अंबाड़ी होती है, जिसके स्टबल से ये एप्रन बना हुआ है। तो ऐसी अलग अलग फसलें हम लोग लगाते हैं साथ में मिलकर, जिससे एक दूसरे जो हमारा मेन कॉटन है क्रॉप, उसका जो पेस्ट है वो कंट्रोल हो जाए। और साथ में ये पंछियों के लिए एक स्टैंड जैसा भी बनता है ताकि पंछी वहाँ पे रुककर जो कुछ भी वो इल्लियाँ खा सकते हैं जो कि फसल के लिए ठीक नहीं है, वो भी वो लोग खा लेते हैं। और साथ में ये वो धागा है जो हम कपास उगाते हैं, उसका बना हुआ धागा है जिससे हम राखियाँ बनाते हैं। तो ये सारे प्रोसेसेस हम लोग करते हैं। और साथ में स्टबल से और क्या क्या हो सकता है, तो हमें बहुत सारे टूल्स लगते हैं, हमें बहुत सारे टोकरियाँ लगती है खेती करने के लिए, तो वो टोकरियाँ उससे बनती है। साथ में उससे खेत में लगने वाले पार्टीशंस भी बनते हैं। तो ऐसे लोकल कम्युनिटीज़ जो अलग अलग जिनके पास स्किल्स है उनके साथ मिलकर क्या कर सकते हैं उसके हमेशा ऑप्शंस ढूंढते रहते हैं और उसके ऊपर काम करते हैं। तो ईटन कॉटन में यही सारे एविडेंसेस है जो आज वहाँ की सच्चाई भी है।
तो ये स्टबल से बनाई हुई किताब, एग्रीकल्चर वेस्ट से बनाई हुई, इसी से आप बाकियों को समझा रहे हैं। यही आपके दादा परदादा करते रहे पहले?
हाँ, दादा परदादा तो मतलब दादा का पता है क्योंकि देखा है, बचपन में बहुत सारी चीज़ें खाई है और बहुत धीरे धीरे ये पूरी जो रंगीन खेती है उसको सफ़ेद होते हुए भी देखा है, पूरा कपास उगते हुए देखा है वहाँ पर। हाँ, तो वो बहुत सारे मिक्स क्रॉपिंग करते थे, उनका एक रिश्ता था वहाँ पे रहने वाले पेड़ों से, उसके ऊपर रहने वाले पंछियों से, वहाँ पे जो उनके रोज़ काम में आने वाले जो उनके साथ जीने वाले जानवर हैं उनके साथ, तो वो एक कनेक्शन था और धीरे धीरे वो बदलते गया।
सो माइक्रो रिलेशनशिप्स को बचाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
हाँ, बिल्कुल।
तो आपका कोई स्टबल नहीं होता जिसको जलाने की ज़रूरत पड़े?
स्टबल होता है, ऐसा नहीं है, पर जैसे कि अगर मूंग लगाया तो वो 3 महीने में डिसइंटीग्रेट हो जाता है, वो ज़मीन में मिल जाता है। और बहुत सारे जो फसलें होते हैं उसके चयन ही इस तरीके से हम लोग करते हैं कि वो हमारा तो पेट भरे ही, लोगों को बांटने के लिए भी बहुत हो, उसका प्रोसेसिंग करके भी हम कुछ बना पाए और साथ में हमारे जानवरों का भी पेट भरे। लेकिन जो कुछ भी स्टबल होता है उसको हम इस तरीके से इस्तेमाल करते हैं क्योंकि मल्टी क्रॉपिंग में हम लोग बहुत सारे बॉर्डर्स छोड़ते हैं और बहुत सारे ऐसे स्पेसेस छोड़ते हैं जिसको हम हाथ नहीं लगाते, और धीरे धीरे हम लोग मल्टी क्रॉपिंग से नो टिलेज की तरफ भी जा रहे हैं। तो जो कुछ भी स्टबल होता है उसका इस तरीके से अगर हम कुछ कर पाए तो वो करते हैं, उसके हमारे हमेशा प्रयास शुरू ही रहते हैं। और हमारा खाना भी बहुत सारा चूल्हे पर ही बनता है तो उसमें भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें यूटिलाइज हो जाती है, लेकिन फिर भी जो स्टबल हम लोग नहीं कुछ कर सकते उसको हम लोग मेन पर साइड में रखते हैं बॉर्डर्स पर, और उसके ऊपर इस तरीके की फसल लगाते हैं जैसे पम्पकिन हो गया जो कि मिट्टी में मिलके ख़राब हो जाएगी लेकिन बारिश में हो जाती है, तो उस तरीके से ये सारे स्टबल इस्तेमाल होते हैं।
Thank you, Shweta ji. My lords, may I exhibit that as exhibit R10/1 and your witness.
Please mark it as exhibit.
Be having one, please. I'll let state to please examine first.
आपका ये जो खूबसूरत इनिशिएटिव है ये स्मॉल स्केल है कि लार्ज स्केल है?
ये इनिशिएटिव जो है वो स्मॉल स्केल है, लेकिन यहाँ पर 8 गांव की 150 महिलाएं हैं जो अपने हाथों से काम करती है और पूरे भारत भर में ये जो राखियाँ हैं ये जाती है, ये जो सीड क्रैकर्स है वो जाते हैं।
तो क्या ये इनिशिएटिव प्रैक्टिकली स्टेट या नेशनल लेवल के में इम्प्लीमेंट हो सकता है?
बेसिकली ये जो कुछ भी हम लोग वहाँ पे कर रहे हैं वो वहाँ के नीड्स के हिसाब से, वहाँ पे किस कम्युनिटी के पास क्या स्किल है, हम क्या ग्रो कर सकते हैं उसके हिसाब से आए हुए ये सारे चीज़ें हैं, ये सारे इनिशिएटिव, मतलब ये सारे कम्युनिटी डिसीजन मेकिंग से आई हुई चीज़ें हैं। हाँ, फिलोसॉफिकल और आइडिया लेवल पर ये सारी चीज़ें इम्प्लीमेंट हम लोग कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर इस चीज़ को ऐसे के ऐसे उठाकर कहीं और रख दिया तो ये एक तरीके का शोषण है उस स्पेस का भी जहाँ पे वो जाएगा, उस कम्युनिटी का भी जिसके पास वो जाएगा, और यहाँ का भी जो वो कम्युनिटी मिलती के कर रही है।
That's all, Madam.
Thank you. Yes, cross-examination, please.
My lords, only one question or two from the witness. श्वेता जी, आपने बताया एक concept के बारे में which is multi-cropping, which you profess. In terms of practice as it exists in Punjab and Haryana, if I am not wrong, we have wheat and rice. And these two crops are actually becoming a culture of that monocropping culture only. We have, in April, we have wheat, and then in the September, October, we have rice. So can you elaborate a bit upon the harms which this monocropping has in your context, BT cotton के context में भी, और otherwise जो monocropping आपकी खेती के experience से जो आप समझ पाए हैं, इस monocropping का क्या नुकसान है?
सबसे पहले तो वीट और राइस, जो मुझे लगता है कि वीट और राइस जो है वो दोनों मोनोकॉट्स है। तो मोनोकॉट ये करता है कि जो ज़मीन के अंदर से नाइट्रोजन है वो पूरा का पूरा निकाल लेता है, और वो एक तरीके से नाइट्रोजन की माइनिंग है। तो एक के बाद एक मोनोकॉट लगाना ये बहुत ही डेंजरस है। तो मल्टी क्रॉपिंग में हमेशा ये प्रैक्टिस होता है कि मोनोकॉट है तो उसके बाद डाइकॉट हम लगाते हैं। तो ये थोड़ा सा मतलब चेक करना चाहिए कि ज़मीन की क्या हालत है यहाँ पर भी। और दूसरा, मल्टी क्रॉपिंग को हम इस तरीके से भी देखते हैं कि हम लोग बहुत सारी स्पेसेस जहाँ पे पेड़ अपने आप उग कर आते हैं, क्योंकि वो वहाँ का माइक्रो क्लाइमेट भी ठीक करते हैं उस ज़मीन का, तो उसका वहाँ पे आना एक कारण है। तो जब वो वहाँ पर आते हैं तो हम उसको छोड़ देते हैं, वो हमारे मल्टी क्रॉपिंग का एक हिस्सा है। और इस तरीके से अगर अलग अलग पेड़ भी उगते हैं तो हम उसको छोड़ते हैं और देखते हैं कि उसके ऊपर किस तरीके की फसल लगा सकते हैं, या उसके शेड में किस तरीके की फसल लगा सकते हैं। और साथ में उसका स्टबल नहीं होता, क्योंकि पेड़ में से जो पत्तियाँ गिरती है वो तो एक तरीके से खाद का ही काम करती है, लेकिन एक हाथ टहनी कभी कोई टूट गई तो वो कुकिंग के काम में आ सकती है, या तो जलाने के काम में आ सकती है, या एक साथ बहुत सारा स्टबल नहीं होता। लेकिन जब अपन मोनोक्रॉपिंग करते हैं तो उसमें बहुत सारा स्टबल एक साथ बहुत दूर तक निकलता है, यानी कि मध्य प्रदेश से लेकर विदर्भ तक पूरा का पूरा कपास का स्टबल एक साथ अगर निकलेगा तो उसको हम कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते, उसका जलाने के अलावा कोई और ऑप्शन नहीं रहता।
आपके हिसाब से स्टबल बर्निंग आपके इलाके में भी होती है?
बहुत ज़्यादा होती है, कभी उसके बारे में कोई बात नहीं होती है, उसका कोई एनवायरनमेंट पे क्या असर है ये भी नहीं पता है। लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स बहुत सारे, जब हम मल्टी क्रॉपिंग करते हैं तो बहुत सारे अलग अलग छोटे छोटे रिश्ते बनते हैं, क्योंकि हमको पता होता है कि कौन से झाड़ पे कौन सा पंछी है, कौन सा घोंसला है। हम लोग अगर कभी हमारे कुछ रूल्स हैं, अगर वो लकड़ी भी चाहिए उस पेड़ की किसी काम के लिए तो हम लोग पेड़ को बार बार हिलाएंगे। अगर उसके ऊपर मधुमक्खी का छत्ता है या उसके ऊपर घोंसला है किसी का तो हम उसको हाथ भी नहीं लगाएंगे। और फिर भी अगर बहुत ज़रूरी है तो बार बार हिलाकर एक आध हफ्ते में या 15-20 दिन में हम लोग वो बताते हैं कि कुछ तो होने वाला है वहाँ पर। और बेसिकली जब हम लोग घूमते हैं तो बहुत सारी और भी चीज़ें दिखती है, जैसे मधुमक्खी के छत्ते पहले आते थे चले जाते थे, फिर रियलाइज़ हुआ कि अरे ये कुछ सीज़न है जहाँ पे उनको खाने के लिए कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा। लेकिन जब बॉर्डर्स ग्रो करने शुरू हुए तो छोटे छोटे जो घास है उसके जो छोटे छोटे फूल है उसके ऊपर भी बहुत सारी हनी बीज आने लगी। और फिर एक ऐसा रिश्ता बन गया कि ये समझ में आने लगा कि ओके उनको पानी भी चाहिए रहते तो बकेट्स लगने शुरू किए। लेकिन पानी में जब
श्वेता, आपको मैं इंटरप्ट कर रहा हूँ, प्लीज सर।
Thank you very much.
थैंक यू श्वेता।
Now your
My
next.
lords, my next witness is a team of two. They're like two peas in a pod. May I request your lordship's permission to examine them jointly, because they've done all their work together and they will be showing what they've done together.
It's okay.
They
all
are-
right. This is
they're
unusual, but okay.
TNT, Mr. Jitin Tukral and Mr. Sumit Tagra. For the last over 25 years, they've been working together. They are inseparable. And I'm examining them for the work they've done together, especially in the field of...
Mr. Serene, can I just point out something? The last witness was, her deposition was brilliant on aspects, but there was nothing to do with stubble burning.
My lord,
The case we are looking at is stubble burning. So I'm just pointing it out to you.
Yes, I'm grateful. I'm
pointing it
grateful.
out.
I'm aware of that. We wanted to examine her to show that multi-cropping
multi-crop
this it doesn't require stubble burning.
Is a solution, but she eventually said, no, it's not. There's ample burning there also.
Yes, but yes.
We thought you were Siamese twins, not so. Wearing different dresses also, that could have been one. Yeah. Otherwise, I believe one could be a ventriloquist, could speak for the other. Possible? No. Yeah. Carry.
Do you affirm that you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, we agree.
Could you please state your name and profession, please?
I am Jiten Chukral. I am an artist.
Hi, I'm Sumay Tagra. Together we are Chukral and Tagra. And we've been working for the last 20 years and seeing what art can actually do. Our practice revolves around social intervention and studio practice.
And can you tell us what connection you have with the farmers and how do you see yourself amongst farmers?
मैं पंजाब तो बिलोंग करदा जलंधर तो मेरे पेरेंट्स मेरे दादा परदादा सारे ਉੱਥੋਂ ਆਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਅਨਵੰਡੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਪਾਰਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਜਲੰਧਰ ਆ ਕੇ ਸੈਟਲ ਹੋਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਖੇਤੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਖੇਤੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਉਹ ਖੇਤੀ ਦਾ ਕ੍ਰੌਪਸ ਵੇਚਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਫਸਲਾਂ ਵੇਚਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਸਾਡੇ ਹੱਲ ਵੀ ਪਿੰਡ ਹੈਗਾ ਵਾ ਖੇਤ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਲੰਧਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਉੱਥੇ ਲਾਮਾ ਪਿੰਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਅਖਾੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਵਾ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਪਹਿਲਵਾਨੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਟ੍ਰੈਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੱਲੇ ਵੀ ਲਾਈਵ ਹੈਗਾ ਵਾ ਜਲੰਧਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋ ਵੀ ਮੇਡ ਲੋਟ ਆਫ ਗੇਮਸ ਵੀ ਮੇਡ ਅਰਾਊਂਡ 7 ਗੇਮ ਬਣਾਈਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਵਾ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਲੋਕੀ ਪਾਰਟਿਸਿਪੇਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਵੀ ਉਹਦਾ ਪਹਿਲਾ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਸੀਗਾ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਇਜ਼ ਅ ਰੈਸਲਰ
ਅੱਛਾ ਤੇ ਕੈਨ ਯੂ ਟੈਲ ਅਸ ਕਿ ਵਾਟ ਵਰਕ ਯੂ ਹੈਵ ਡਨ which you are going to show us to support your testimony.
Yeah, so today we have Weeping Farm. It's basically a conversation. It is a research-based project which came to realize after working with farming very closely. And that the game talks about women in farming and particularly particular kind of economics, which is economy of loss. But also at the same time, they're talking about survival. We actually embody the character. The game is about embodying a character and then live a life, live a year of what she goes through in a day-to-day chores, what she does. And I think it is very important for the urban audiences to understand that where their food is grown up and what all it takes to grow up a food.
And are these women farmers just farming or they're widows of farmers also?
Yes, so this is since we've been going to the farming, to the villages, and our research actually happened through this organization called Badu Sahib, which has volunteers who actually go to door to gather the data of suicide deaths. And through one of those volunteers, we landed up into the village, and we would actually go to the village and talk about. We had all the plans about talking about these, that what all it takes, but when we actually went there, it was just women sitting down and with their photograph of their husbands who have actually committed suicide because of the debt and because of the problems they've been facing.
So can we play your game and find out?
Yes, so the game is about, as I said, a turn by turn, a season by season, we play this game. And arguably, the statistics reveal that in every 40 to 45 minutes, there is one suicide death. And that's something which triggered our entire body of work, and we landed up building this game that whoever has the most of the death after the rounds, he or she, the player dies. So that's...
So since the whole game takes about 40 to 45 minutes, can we play one round for 3 or 4 minutes?
Absolutely.
And get an idea of what your game is about? So that everybody knows that how you're spreading awareness about what is happening in the rural part of India. So.
I think we would all the audience would like to know what is going to happen. So it's actually a board game invented by them and now we're going to play it here in the court.
Yes.
Is that what I said?
That's exactly my lord. May I request my friend Harish to come and join me, and Zuleikha is already here, and Manan.
Video cue 2.
Yes. Now, these are the cards which each player gets. I am now a farm laborer, age 62. My crop is maize. I have a family of 8. I'm from the state of Karnataka. I have been farming for 45 years. Due to overwork, I have developed a hunched back. I'm finally free from all my debts. This is what my card is. Now, I start from this, that I'm cleared all my debts. Now we go for the Rabi crop. Please read your card, sir.
I am a cultivator. My age is 41. I'm sowing potatoes. I have a family of 7. I am from Bihar. You work on your family land and practice subsistence farming. However, you barely manage to break even, thus borrowed rupees 50,000 from relatives and local moneylender. Meaning thereby, I have debt of rupees 50,000.
Please. I'm a cultivator. मैं राजस्थान से हूँ. Age 49 है. ज्वार बाजरा में बीज रही हूँ. 11 फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं मेरे. और 1 लाख रुपए का कर्जा मेरे ऊपर है आज की डेट में, क्योंकि मेरे हस्बैंड जब मौत हुई तो उनका कर्जा 1 लाख रुपए था.
I'm from Tamil Nadu. I'm 35 years of age. I have a family of 6. I'm a farm laborer. The crop I do is paddy. And I have a 50,000 debt over me and to avail a proper housing for my family.
And now I pick a card, and the card in the game says, cyclonic storm in Bay of Bengal has led to incessant rainfall in the country. Paddy, being a water-intensive crop, finds this situation favorable. Except paddy growers, rest of the farmers suffer a loss of 2,500 due to excessive rainfall, damaging their fields. So from no debt, I've got a debt of a loss of 2,500 rupees.
My card says, seasonal nature of agriculture employment has left you without work. As your search for employment, spend rupees 2,500 to fulfill your daily requirement for this month. Meaning thereby, my debt is 50,000 plus 2,500, 52,500.
मैं अचानक से बीमार हो गई हूँ, जिसकी वजह से केमिकल फर्टिलाइज़र और इनकी जो एक्सपोजर है मुझे, इसने मुझे बीमार कर दिया है और डॉक्टर ने कहा है कि ये कैंसर होने के चांसेस हैं, जिसकी वजह से मुझे 10,000 रुपये के टेस्ट करवाने होंगे. तो मेरा कर्ज 1,10,000 रुपये बढ़ जाता है.
All the farmers in the state of the Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Rajasthan have been hit by 3 years of consecutive drought-like situation. Your family members have to migrate to find food, water resources for your cattle. You gave them 5,000 rupees as cash. So my debt has increased to 55.
Well, that is the run round of the game, which, sorry.
Would you like another round or are you fine with this?
I think one round is enough. And what we've understood, it's if anyone has played Monopoly,
yes,
it's a bit like that.
Yes,
the life of a farmer.
Who's making money, who's losing money, and ultimately, at some stage, the debt becomes too much and the person exits.
That's right. And that is my question to you, that the government claims there are no suicides by farmers. Can you give some comment about it and give us enlightenment?
The government depends on the data which is from NCRB, which is National Crime Report Bureau, and which actually states that the suicide are under the category of accidental and suicidal death. It doesn't really count this kind of particular thing. Now, the data, what we are actually looking into is from the NGOs and organizations, trusted, reputed organizations like Pari Network. Then there is the NGOs which are Badu Sahib, which we work with. And of course, when we can see the death in the family, when we actually do a witnessing and go on a primary research trip, we can see these are the facts which we wanted to present into a form.
Are you going to be even suggesting that if there are no suicides, the difference will be different? There will be a big difference.
My lord, what I'm trying to show is that there are farmers are in such dire straits, they're committing suicide. The government doesn't recognize them because their method of recognizing a suicide is totally. It's only NGOs which find them. They are the ones who are helping the poor farmers. But the farmers really need help from the government.
I understand, because right from the beginning, even when you made the statement, you were talking about the poor lot of the farmers. Will we at any time in this discussion be really considering how the economic status of the farmers are, that will have a bearing to the stubble burning, banning them or anything? Or would you say, no, don't ban, we'll be more prosperous? There can't be a correlation.
No, the reason is that the policies which have been followed, they are leading to this, leading to stubble burning, because you need money to survive, and yet you're not following your traditional forms of farming. That is my intention. So that is all. It's your witness. Oh, sorry, Manat.
You spoke about personal data that you collected while making research for the game. Did you verify the data or corroborated your testimonies with the farmers or any other mode?
As I said, that we've trained in information design and we understand the ethics of data mapping. So it is mostly taken from 3 sources. And those 3 sources have to be as reputed as one of us is ours, and the second one is the reputed, trusted organizations. There's also the data which heavily rely on the game is from this volunteer from the organization called Badu Sahib, and he would actually give 20 villages to map these things throughout his time, and he will be the single person who will actually map these things as a single person who's actually going to the site of a death, and he will report it and make an affidavit. Now,
so it's like when we're letting data one-to-one, so we are relying on data as instead of other uncollected data. So ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਣੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੌਤ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੈਗਾ ਵਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ 1-to-1 ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਵਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਗਏ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਆਪਣੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਬਣਾ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਕੈਮਰੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਪੂਰੀ 4 ਬੰਦੇ ਦੀ ਟੀਮ ਗਈ ਉੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ then those women comes ਸਾਡੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਲੋਨ ਦਾ ਕਾਗਜ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਦਿਖਾਉਂਦੇ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਪੱਖਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਮਰਿਆ ਸੀ ਬੰਦਾ. So we have no questions. So neither we took a picture, neither we can ask them any question. We got all the answers. So वो जिਵੇਂ line हैगी मरना सच जीना झूठ. So that's why we have no questions to ask.
But I हैगा था personal data ही ना. Personal data is based on discretion, and government data is verified. Rules and regulations are to be followed. So how can you give weightage to personal data over government data?
When I can see the things in front of me, so as an artist, so we are verifying ourselves, so we want to show what we're seeing here in front of us.
All right, since your board game is women-centric, did you find any case of women labor committing suicide?
No, we haven't. We actually we met all the male farmers in Haryana, and we met all the women farmers in Punjab. And we haven't found the women committing suicide, but they are at the dire state because all the repercussions will come onto them.
Okay, so the main center of the petition is stubble burning. Can you explain me how your board game is related to stubble burning?
So stubble burning is one of those larger set of problems. There are many problems. Stubble burning comes as one of those things. I have one card if you allow me to kind of read it out.
Yes, yes.
So, I mean, in a simple situation, it's like let the cultivators and laborers in Punjab and Haryana know that they have been fined by officials at the sum of 2,500 for causing too much of pollution in the neighbouring cities due to the stubble burning and to clear the fields. Now, this has been a practice, and this is where we actually wanted to kind of highlight these issues, that they have a very limited options at the same time to how to maneuver and move on to the next crop cycle.
All right, that's all, my lord.
Well, it was an impressive game, and it certainly shakes our psyche and psychology of all of us and makes us aware of many things. But one thing struck me: you are artists by profession and not the government experts. So why should your deposition be taken seriously in this court of law?
I mean, this is the most genuine response we could actually do. Like when you actually go through this dire understanding of what is happening, we always order food online and eat food, but when you actually see it with your own eyes at what else it takes to grow the food, I mean, these things comes very naturally. So there was no pretension to this, and this came out of as a response to what we saw, and the 55% of the stakeholders, like they're the women in the 74% which are actually depending on the agriculture, and they practically have no rights. So it was for us a duty, as a citizen, as a duty to kind of amplify these things. And it's as simple as this.
So research behind this game, how long is the research for this particular game you undertook?
So it went on from 9 years. I mean, we've been involved within the understanding. Of course, when Sujit Singh came in, and things change, and then we could actually develop a little more understanding. The entire understanding of how we approach our subject matter changed when you actually go through this event.
Okay, I have played your game entire rounds actually, and what I have witnessed was approximately 30 to 40% cards in your game actually dealt with environmental issues affecting the lives of women laborers as such. So can you elaborate upon this environmental crisis playing any role in the narrative of a woman, may it be from Punjab? As I see, your game is from pan-India level.
So it's basically that yes, you're right actually, 40 to 50% of the cards are focused on environmental issues. You cannot actually single it out, the farming and the profession, from the climatic conditions. You simply cannot separate these two things. When we know that the water level is going down and then the boring well has broken up, they actually go and take a loan because they're actually using a lot of water for the paddy crops. Now, these are like fundamental issues which needs to be like told to them, and then have policies to kind of work around, and of course to have that buffer so that they can operate and move, have the courage to not do certain things which they have been practicing.
Okay, my last question too is, what should be the takeaway from this game? We have played in a court of law today, and an ordinary person playing in any other environment today, what should be the takeaway for him of this game?
Since we always see games as a leisure, as a play, so we wanted to kind of create a new category called serious games. These are apparatuses to social repair, and we amplify these larger dire issues to the urban audiences, or maybe like to amplify in a way that it is experience based. It is not a book, it is not a film, it is something else. You go through it, you embody, and then you touch and feel, and then you experience. So in a nutshell, I could actually say that it is actually allowing people to move in and to open their eyes to kind of understand what all is happening.
Basically, citizen awareness, as I would say. That'll be all my lords for my question.
Thank you. Thank you, Jitin and Samir.
My lord, my last witness is Randeep Madhok.
Mr. Randeep?
Yes.
Do you affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yeah, I do.
Please give your name and your profession.
मेरा नाम रणदीप मद्दोके है. मैं डॉक्यूमेंट्री फिल्म मेकर, फोटोग्राफर.
तो what is your जो फिल्म और फोटोग्राफी करते हैं, what is it based on? कुछ डिस्क्रिप्शन बतलाएंगे आप?
मैं 15 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਪੇਂਡੂ ਖੇਤਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਖੇਤ ਮਜ਼ਦੂਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਤੇ ਫਿਲਮ ਤੇ ਫੋਟੋਗ੍ਰਾਫੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਫਿਲਮ ਬਣਾਈ ਆ ਲੈਂਡਲੈਸ, ਜੋ ਮਾਰਜਨਲ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਤੋਂ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਲੇਬਰ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਜੋ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਨੇ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਐਗਰੇਰੀਅਨ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੁਸਾਈਡ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਲੈਂਡ ਓਨਿੰਗ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਤੋਂ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ। ਦੈਨ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਾਲਿਕ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਸੁਸਾਈਡ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਲੈਂਡਲੈਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਨਵੋਲਵ ਨੇ ਖੇਤੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਲੈਂਡ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਜਦੋਂ ਖੇਤੀ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਉਸ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਵਾਲੇ ਸੈਕਟਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਲੈਂਡਲੈਸ ਵੀ ਸੁਸਾਈਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਫਿਲਮ ਉਹ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਸੁਸਾਈਡ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੂਮਨ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰੇਟ ਹੈ, ਡੈਥ ਰੇਟ ਹੈ, ਸੁਸਾਈਡ ਰੇਟ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਮਾਲਿਕ ਕਿਸਾਨੀ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੈਂਡਲੈਸ ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਵਰਕਰਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ। ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਪਲੋਰ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਹੋਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮਸ ਨੇ, ਈਵਨ ਕਿ ਲੈਂਡ ਐਂਡ ਓਨਿੰਗ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਅਤੇ ਲੈਂਡਲੈਸ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਬਣਦਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਕਾਸਟ ਡਿਸਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਾਲਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਸਲਾ ਵੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਐਕਸਪਲੋਰ ਕਰਦੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਫਿਲਮ।
Lord, may I have the permission to show a small excerpt from a film produced about landless farmers?
Please go ahead.
Stage lights down. Video cue 3.
बस 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 ਸਪਰੇਅ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਉਹਨੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਿੱਟਦੀਆਂ ਸਪਰੇਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਕਾਰਨ ਬੱਚੇ ਹੁਣ ਝੋਨਾ ਦੀਆਂ ਦਵਾਈਆਂ ਪੈਣ ਲੱਗ ਗਏ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਿੱਟੀ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਇਹ ਜਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਰਾਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਖੱਬਲਾਂ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਦਵਾਈਆਂ ਸਿੱਟੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਛਿੜਕੀਆਂ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਇਹ ਖਾ ਜਾਂਦੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਘਾਟ ਪਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਔਖੀ ਆ ਇਹ ਇਹਦਾ ਠੀਕ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਸਰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਚਾਰਨੀਆਂ ਪੈਂਦੀਆਂ ਜੇ ਹੁਣ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਸੋਚ ਕੇ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਕੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਦੀ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਵੀਰੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੀਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਮੁੱਢ ਤੋਂ ਮੈਂ 10 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਵੜਿਆ ਵਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਜੱਟ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਵੀ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਪਾਣੀ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੱਢ ਕੇ ਵੇਖਿਆ ਵੀ ਨੱਕਾ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਵੱਢੀਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਆਪਦਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਭਲਾ ਇਹ ਚੰਗਾ ਭਲਾ ਮਾੜਾ ਸਮੱਸਿਆ ਕੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਣ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਐਵੇਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਗੁਲਾਮੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਅਲਾ 100 ਕਹੂਗਾ ਐ ਨਹੀਂ ਐਂ ਕਰ ਇੱਧਰੋਂ ਐ ਨਹੀਂ ਐਂ ਕਰ ਐਵੇਂ ਕੀ ਲੋੜ ਆ ਆਪਦਾ ਕੀਤਾ ਤਾਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿਸੇ ਗੁਲਾਮੀ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਵਧਗਾ ਯਾਰ ਜਿਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਹੋਵੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਕਰ ਲਾ ਹੁਣ ਤੂੰ ਆਹ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਕਰ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਇਹਦਾ ਭੇਜਤਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਭੇਜਤਾ ਖੇਤੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਖੇਤੀ ਦਾ ਭੇਜਤਾ ਅੱਡੋ ਅੱਡੀ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਕਰੇ ਦਾ ਭੇਜਤਾ
Randeep ji, according to you, who is a farmer?
फार्मर जो बिजाई करता है सिंचाई करता है कटाई करता है ਢੋ ਢੁਆਈ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ ਖੇਤੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਕਹਾਂਗਾ ਹਾਲਾਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟਰਮ ਪਾਪੂਲਰ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਉਹ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਹੈ ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਕਿ ਲਾਜ਼ਮੀ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਕੋਲੇ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਆ ਉਹ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਹੈ ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਬੈਠਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹਦੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ 100 ਕਿੱਲਾ ਜਾਂ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਪਰ ਉਹ ਖੇਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਨਾਟ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਜੋ ਖੇਤੀ ਨੂੰ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਨੇ
ਅੱਛਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੋ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਕਦੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈ ਸੀ
ਇਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੀ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਰੈਵੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਹੋਇਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆਈ ਹੈ
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਬਸਿਡੀਜ਼ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬੈਲੈਂਸ ਈਵਨਲੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰੀਬਿਊਟ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਆਰ ਡਿਸਟ੍ਰੀਬਿਊਟਡ ਔਨ ਬੇਸਿਸ ਆਫ ਕਾਸਟ ਰਿਲੀਜਨ ਐਂਡ ਅਦਰ ਕ੍ਰਾਈਟੇਰੀਆਜ਼
ਉੱਪਰ ਤੋਂ ਦੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਡਿਸਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਸਭ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਬਰਾਬਰ ਹੈ ਸਬਕਾ ਸਾਥ ਸਬਕਾ ਵਿਕਾਸ ਪਰ ਐਸਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਦੀ ਜੜ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਡਿਸਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਪਈ ਹੋਈ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਐਨੀ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਉਹ ਕਿਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਰਾਬਰ ਮਿਲੇਗੀ ਉਦਾਹਰਨ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਸਬਸਿਡੀ ਜਾਣੀ ਹੋਏਗੀ 1000 ਕਿੱਲੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਦਾ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਔਰ 1 ਏਕੜ ਜਾਂ 2 ਏਕੜ ਵਾਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਦੈਨ ਜਦੋਂ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਇੰਪਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਗਰਾਊਂਡ 'ਤੇ ਤਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਉਹਦੀ ਕਾਸਟ ਉਹਦਾ ਧਰਮ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਇੰਪਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਮੀਨ ਉਹਦੇ ਮੂਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਡਿਸਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਹ ਜਿਹਦੀ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਮੀਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੀ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਅਦਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾਂ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਅਦਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਪੁੱਛਗਿੱਛ ਹੈ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਪੁੱਛਗਿੱਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ, ਜਿਹਦਾ ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਵੀ ਉੱਚਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ, ਜਿਹਦਾ ਇਕਨੋਮਿਕ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਵੀ ਉੱਚਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਆ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਉਹਦਾ ਘੱਟ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ। ਕਿਸੇ ਹੱਦ ਤੱਕ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ।
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਰੈਵੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਨਾਲ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਮੈਲ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸਿਸ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋਈਆਂ, ਉਹਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਵੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ?
ਲਾਜ਼ਮੀ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਇਨਫ ਅਨਾਜ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ, ਇੱਥੇ ਹੰਗਰ ਸੀ, ਉਸ ਪੱਖੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਡੀਪੈਂਡੈਂਟ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ। ਔਰ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਮ ਵੀ ਮਿਲਿਆ, ਕੁਛ ਕਿਸਾਨੀ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਵੀ ਉੱਚਾ ਹੋਇਆ, ਔਰ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੇ ਹੋਏ ਖੇਤ ਮਜ਼ਦੂਰਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਟੇਟਸ ਵੀ ਉੱਚਾ ਹੋਇਆ। ਪਰ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਸ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਦੀ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹ ਇਸ਼ੂ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡਾ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੱਕ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲਾਈਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਨੇ, ਨੇਚਰ ਨੂੰ ਖਰਾਬ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ, ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ। ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਦੇਖਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਾਂਗਾ ਕਿ ਫਿਰ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ। ਸਾਰੇ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਦਾ ਬਲੇਮ ਕਿਸੇ 'ਤੇ ਲਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਲਈ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ, ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋਇਆ।
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਮਤੋਗੀ, ਯੂ ਆਰ ਵਿਟਨੈਸਿੰਗ।
कि स्टबल बर्निंग कम हुई है इन कंपैरिजन टू प्रीवियस ईयर्स?
बिल्कुल बहुत सारी चर्चा हो रही है। लास्ट ईयर मई ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਾਰਵੈਸਟਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੱਕਦਮ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਗੱਲ ਆਈ ਕਿ এনवायरमेंट ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਧੂੰਆਂ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਦਿੱਲੀ ਵਾਲੇ ਲੋਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਰੇਸ਼ਾਨ ਹੋ ਜਾਣਗੇ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੇ ਧੂੰਆਂ ਭੇਜ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ। ਤਾਂ ਦੈਨ ਉਹ ਚਰਚਾ 'ਚ ਆਈ ਗੱਲ, ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਲੈਵਲ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ, ਫਾਰਮਰ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਵਜੋਂ ਪੇਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਸੋਸ਼ਲ ਮੀਡੀਆ 'ਤੇ, ਹਰ ਥਾਂ 'ਤੇ। ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਵੀ ਅਸਰ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਪੀਪਲ ਰੀਥਿੰਕ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ। ਤਾਂ ਜਨਰਲੀ ਵੀ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਆਰਗੇਨਾਈਜੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਨੇ, ਯੂਨੀਅਨਸ ਨੇ, ਦੇ ਆਰ ਟਾਕਿੰਗ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਵਾਟਰ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ, ਏਅਰ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਐਂਡ ਸੋਇਲ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ।
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਯੈਸ ਔਰ ਨੋ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਨਸਰ ਦਿਓ ਕਿ ਘੱਟ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ।
ਹਾਂ, ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦੀ ਚਰਚਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਸਾਨ ਅਵੇਅਰ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਘਟਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਔਰ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਘਟਾ ਰਿਹਾ, ਕਿਸੇ ਸਜ਼ਾ ਤੋਂ ਡਰ ਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਘਟਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਹੀ ਇਜ਼ ਆਲਸੋ ਗੈਟਿੰਗ ਅਵੇਅਰ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ। ਜਸਟ 15% 20% ਇਹ ਟੋਟਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਰਹਿ ਗਈ ਹੈ। ਜਦ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਹੋਲ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਹੈ, ਤਾਂ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ 51%, 51%, ਐਂਡ ਵਹੀਕਲਸ ਦਾ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ 27%, 27%, ਦੈਨ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਦਾ 17%, ਐਂਡ ਅਦਰ ਜੋ 5%, 5%। ਤਾਂ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਇੰਨੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਪੋਲਿਊਸ਼ਨ ਫੈਲਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਆਲਰੇਡੀ ਹੋਰ ਘਟਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ।
ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਜਲਦੀ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ?
ਆਈ ਕੈਨਟ ਸੇ ਕਿ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਈਅਰ ਪੂਰੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ। ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਏਜੰਸੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਇਮਾਨਦਾਰੀ ਨਾਲ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਏਗਾ, ਔਰ ਈਵਨ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ ਆਰ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਵੈਲ ਫਰੋਮ ਦੇਅਰ ਸਾਈਡ। ਉਹ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰਾ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਝੱਲ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਘਟਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਸਟਬਲ ਅਗਰ ਸੋਇਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਨੇਜ ਕਰਨਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਫਸਲ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋਏਗੀ, ਉਹ ਖਾਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣੇਗੀ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੀੜਾ ਵੀ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਏਗਾ। ਤਾਂ ਉਹ ਆਪਣੇ ਘਾਟੇ ਦੀ ਕੋਸਟ 'ਤੇ ਵੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਘਟਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਫਾਰਮਰਸ।
ਠੀਕ,
ਮੈਂ ਇੱਕ ਸਵਾਲ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ
ਜੀ।
ਇਹ ਦੱਸੋ ਜੀ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਸਟਬਲ ਨੂੰ ਬਰਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈ
ਜੀ,
ਕਿਸੇ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਬਰਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੈ, ਤੇ ਸੋਇਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮਾਈਕਰੋ ਨਿਊਟ੍ਰੀਐਂਟਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਘੱਟ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਮਰ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਸੋਇਲ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟਿਵਿਟੀ ਵੀ ਘੱਟ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਫਾਰਮਰ ਅਵੇਅਰ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ?
sorry to interrupt. Actually, sir, I was very young. ਜਲੰਧਰ ਦੂਰਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਸੀਗਾ, ਮੇਰਾ ਪਿੰਡ ਮੇਰੇ ਖੇਤ। ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਐਕਸਪਰਟਸ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਲਾਹ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨ ਕਰੋ ਖੇਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਨਸੈਕਟਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਨੈਕਸਟ ਸੀਜ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫਸਲ ਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੈਣਗੇ, ਔਰ ਈਵਨ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੋਇਲ ਆ ਉਹ ਔਰ ਹੋਰ ਫਰਟਾਈਲ ਹੋਏਗੀ। ਇਹ ਦੂਰਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀ, ਸਟੇਟ ਏਜੰਸੀਜ਼ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਖਾਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਤਾਂ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਰੱਬੀ ਇਲਹਾਮ ਤਾਂ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੀ ਹੋਏਗਾ। ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਦੱਸਣੇ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਫਾਇਦੇ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਤਾਂ ਨਾ ਉਹੀ ਏਜੰਸੀਜ਼ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕ੍ਰਿਮੀਨਲ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਏਜੰਸੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨੁਕਸਾਨ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਔਰ ਮੈਂ ਮੰਨਦਾ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨਿੰਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ तमाम चीज़ां ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਸੋਇਲ ਵੀ ਫਰਟਾਈਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ।
I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਐਗਰੀਕਲਚਰ ਯੂਨੀਵਰਸਿਟੀਜ਼ ਨੇ ਸਿਖਾਇਆ ਕਿ ਸਟਬਲ ਬਰਨਿੰਗ ਕਰੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕੋਈ ਡੇਟਾ ਹੈ?
ਮੈਂ ਰਿਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਦੂਰਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮਸ ਨੂੰ, ਬਟ ਸਟਿਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਰਕਾਈਵਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪਏ ਹੋਣਗੇ। ਰੌਣਕੀ ਰਾਮ ਚਾਚਾ ਜੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ।
ठीक है, that's all my lord.
रणदीप, बात हुई कि स्टबल बर्निंग किसानों के द्वारा जो हो रही है कम लेवल पे हो रही है, ज़्यादा जो है व्हीकल पोल्यूशन और इंडस्ट्रियल पोल्यूशन है। तो इसमें हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जो पोल्यूशन का मेजर कारण है वो एक स्टेट लेड अप्रोच के तहत ही हुआ है ना, कि जो ये जो डेवलपमेंट, मुझे नहीं पता है डेवलपमेंट कहाँ जाके रुकेगा, ये डेवलपमेंट जो स्टेट स्पॉन्सर डेवलपमेंट है उसमें कहीं प्रॉब्लम है, इसमें आपका कमेंट क्या है?
देखिए, डेवलपमेंट जो है मेरे हिसाब से सबके लिए नहीं है। और डेवलपमेंट का मीनिंग क्या है ये भी हमें यहाँ डिस्कस करना चाहिए। हम कहते हैं डेवलपमेंट करनी है, डेवलपमेंट करनी है, उसमें क्या कहीं लोग भी शामिल हैं, हमारी पूरी पब्लिक भी शामिल है? किसकी डेवलपमेंट होनी है किसी भी क्षेत्र में? तो मैं सोचता हूँ कि जिस तरह का डेवलपमेंट का लारा लगाया जा रहा है वो लोगों की डेवलपमेंट नहीं है। अगर डेवलपमेंट तो हम 70 साल से कह रहे हैं, फिर अब भी इतने अनपढ़ क्यों हैं, इतने भूखे क्यों हैं? हमारे पास बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं। तो अगर डेवलपमेंट हम हर टाइम अलाप रहे हैं तो डेवलपमेंट हो किसकी रही है? तो मैं कहता हूँ डेवलपमेंट ह्यूमंस के और नेचर के पक्ष में होनी चाहिए, बट डेवलपमेंट का मीनिंग कहने को सबका साथ सबका विकास है, बट असल में कुछ लोगों का विकास और बाकी सारी चीज़ों का, लोगों का, ह्यूमंस का और नेचर
तो
का विनाश
आप अग्री करेंगे इस चीज़ से कि
जस्ट
जो
1 मिनट, जस्ट 1
जी
मिनट।
जी 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 जी
तो जो डेवलपमेंट मीन्स प्रॉफिट, और प्रॉफिट किसका? इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट का, कारपोरेट्स का, जनता का नहीं। तो उसमें बहुत बड़ी गड़बड़ है।
हाँ, तो अग्री कर रहे हैं आप कि जो डेवलपमेंट जो है, जो वातावरण को भी नुकसान पहुंचा रही है, ये स्टेट लेड है, स्टेट के अपनी पॉलिसीज़ के कारण ही है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। अगर हम कहें कि ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन, हम कोई भी इनिशिएटिव लेते हैं, लाइक इंडस्ट्री लगाते हैं, कुछ भी करते हैं, तो हम पहले जान जाते हैं कि पहले हमें पता होता है कि इसके फ़ायदे क्या होने वाले हैं, नुकसान क्या होने वाले हैं। तो जब पंजाब के किसान तो धान नहीं लगाते थे, राइस नहीं उगाते थे, वीट भी बहुत पॉपुलर क्रॉप नहीं थी, ग्रेन नहीं था, मिलेट्स थे, बाजरा था, मक्की था, कोदरा था। गुरु नानक देव जी के हवाले से भी हम कोदरे की बात करते हैं कि यहाँ कोदरा होता था। तो आज तो पंजाब में कहीं हम ये चीज़ें नहीं देखते। तो वो कहाँ गई? जो कमर्शियल क्रॉप थी, जो बाज़ार में चाहिए थी, उसने खा ली वो फसलें जो यहाँ की ट्रेडिशनल फसलें थी, ग्रेन्स थे। देन तो आपने इंट्रोड्यूस किया, आपको चाहिए, आपने इतनी जनता को संभाल कर रखना, उनको फूड देना, तो राइस लाइए जी, वीट लेके आइए। तो जब आपने ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन इंट्रोड्यूस किया है तो उसकी कॉस्ट क्या होगी, उसके जो साइड इफेक्ट क्या होंगे, नुकसान क्या होंगे, वो उसका आपको कोई अंदाजा
कोई
नहीं
असेसमेंट भी नहीं हुआ था।
तो
आपका
आज
कहना
हम
है।
पराली की बात करते हैं, स्टबल बर्निंग की बात कर रहे हैं, उस टाइम हमने कभी सोचा था कि ये भी बात आएगी? नहीं,
तो
हमने सोचा नहीं।
अभी रणदीप जी, लास्ट सवाल मेरा आपसे ये है, आपकी फिल्म एक लैंडलेस लेबर के बारे में है, उसका प्रकृति से क्या रिश्ता है? एक जो लैंडलेस है, जो वहाँ पे खेती मजदूर काम कर रहा है, उसका प्रकृति से क्या रिश्ता है? इसके बारे में कुछ बताएं।
लैंडलेस का भी वही रिश्ता है जो बाकी ह्यूमन बीइंग्स का प्रकृति से या नेचर से रिश्ता होना चाहिए, और वही रिश्ता है। और वो कहीं ना कहीं जो अगर हम कहें तो प्रैक्टिस ज़्यादातर चीज़ें खेती में लैंडलेस लेबर करती है, या फिर कह सकते हैं कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो लेबर होती है वो करती हैं, भले ही उसको बीजना हो, काटना हो, उसको हार्वेस्ट करना हो, या फिर स्टबल बर्न भी करना हो, तो वो ही करते हैं, बट दे आर नॉट क्रिमिनल, तो क्योंकि ये उनकी जॉब है।
चलो ठीक है जी, थैंक यू
जी।
वेरी गुड प्रेजेंटेशन। Now, is the end of the recording of evidence?
No, my lord. I want to call upon my witness.
Oh, you have a witness?
Please, my lord.
Okay, please call.
I think we can do without the state's witness because you are agreeing with everybody. You haven't disagreed with anybody. You have no policies on pollution.
My lord will get to know.
Policies on stopping stubble burning.
My lord will get to know now.
Okay.
Please. My star witness is here.
At least, I mean,
Mr.
he
Singh?
seems to be agreeing with everybody. It seems like a fixed hearing.
Mr. Singh,
Yes, please.
do you affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Kindly state your name and profession.
I am Kahan Singh Panno. I am retired IAS officer, and currently I am doing my own farming.
Wait. You're a retired officer?
Yes.
You don't need to support the government any longer, do you?
I'm myself doing my own farming now. But I need to state the truth, sir.
Sure.
So then decide whether you are a farmer or a former IAS officer.
Both. The
Which
truth
one?
is I am both.
Kindly brief us about your association with agriculture and environment policies of the state.
I belong to a farming family. I have done my graduation and post-graduation in agriculture from Punjab Agriculture University, Ludhiana. Thereafter, I served in various positions in the government dealing with agriculture. I was Secretary, Department of Agriculture, Government of Punjab. I was Secretary, Water Sources. I was Chairman, Punjab Pollution Control Board twice. I was Commissioner, Food and Drug Administration. I had also worked as MD, Punjab Agro-Industry Corporation. And I was also heading the cooperative department where we were organizing the farmers into agriculture cooperatives.
You have come here to suggest that the policies of the government have always been in place to take care of the farmers or the applicants.
Your Honor, the issue is that stubble burning is the main stay which we are talking about. No, stubble burning is related to paddy stubble burning because other stubble burnings are not the issue. No, paddy is a crop which is alien to Punjab. It has come to Punjab only in 1978-79. Before that, the total area under paddy in Punjab was only 3 lakh hectares. And in 1980 and 85 till 85, it increased to 31 lakh hectares. So a lot of area has increased. So since this crop is alien to Punjab, so therefore the agricultural practices, agronomic practices, which were being followed in kharif crop for other crops, were not properly, fitting into the crop cycle of the state. As a result, because before that, all the kharif crops, they get ripened in the month of last week of September or earlier of October. But this goes up to November, even end November. But our main crop of Rabi is sown in the month of November, from 1st to 15th of November, that's the appropriate time. But at that time, this crop is already standing in the field or is being harvested. As a result of which, this agro-ecosystem of two crops that they clash with each other, as a result of which farmers have been, in Punjab, farmers have been tilling their land, clearing their fields before the next crop is sown. Dab ke baar raj ke kha, that has been our mainstay in agriculture. But then scientists and farm experts started telling us, don't plow your fields. You can sow the next crop without that. So therefore, agriculture is not a vocation only, it's a culture also. Because over a period of time, hundreds of years, people learn as to how one crop is to be sown and grown and cultivated. So in this case, that did not happen. As a result of which, we faced this problem of clearing the fields before sowing the next crop, as a result of which this problem of stubble burning.
Just 1 minute there. I was asking the council even before Assis made the statement. I was trying to recall to him the disposition of people down south and the east cultivating paddy. And they don't have a problem like this.
Yes.
They're culturally so for several generations. It happens one after another. What is new about Punjab, Haryana, and places nearby, which is not happening there?
That's true, sir. As I have just stated, sir, that this is a crop not historically not related to Punjab. It has been introduced in Punjab in only 1980s.
But why stubble burning?
Yes, sir.
Not there.
Not there. Not there. It is because in their agro-ecosystem, it has fitted so well over a period of time that in our agro-ecosystem, it is not fitting. One. Two, in those areas, the stubble is being used as a fodder for animals and for their huts and other things. But here in Punjab, it's not being used for animals because we have a better fodder available in terms of paddy straw, which is better quality, and our animals over a period of, say, thousands of years have been using that. So as a result of which, this stubble of paddy, which is 20 million tons in Punjab, it has no ex situ use, out of field use. As a result of which, people have been doing it. Like West Bengal has been producing the largest producer of paddy in the country, but they don't have this problem because it is not a cash crop for them. They grow it and then they consume it. Like we have wheat, which
Mr.
we have been.
Can I just interject? Is it a different variety of rice that's grown in those states?
No, sir. No. Varieties could be the same because the major.
Somebody told me that they're different varieties.
Sir, varieties are different,
And
but the issue in paddy is the silicon. It is silica in paddy, which is the main problem creating thing. So in Punjab, because silica is more, therefore our animals are not used to eating this fodder. They are eating the fodder of wheat. So as a result of which, it's being used in other states.
Bring the animals from there here. That's easier.
Sir, animals from there we cannot bring because the average yield of animal in...
You don't need to take that question very seriously.
In that state is only 8 kg and we have about more than 20 kg.
Is there any decline in stubble burning count in comparison to previous years?
You see, yes, there has been decline in the number of incidents of fire because in 2016, when we started using the data from Punjab Remote Sensing Center, we had about 90,000 incidents of crop burning here in Punjab, but last year it was less than 50,000. So the number of incidents are coming down year by year. And if we see the area, we have 23 districts. In almost 13 districts, the number of incidents have reduced to very minimum. And one district of Kapurthala, for last 2 years, there has not been even a single incident of it. We have some problem in South Punjab because of one particular variety which is being grown there, which is called Pusa 44. Because that variety takes 130 days to mature as compared to other varieties which take 110 or 105 days, 105 days. So that is the problem. Over a period of time, that variety is now going out of the context and farmers are shifting to the early maturing crops. So in that area also, the number of incidents in the days to come will come down. Not only that, our main problem for paddy, paddy burning was in Doaba area a few years back because people used to grow potato there. And for potato, we need to clear the fields. But now, the new machinery, which we call moldable plows, they have been used in such a manner that these potato farmers, they have started getting more yield if they don't burn the paddy. That's why in that area, paddy burning problem has...
Okay, Mr. Pannu, one small question to you. This is a case where they say that the paddy which is burnt in, say, Amritsar, Jalandhar, has reached Delhi. Do you think it's possible to reach without the Haryana paddy reaching there?
No, sir, that's not possible. That is not possible because we have been...
So which would come first, the Haryana, UP, this thing, or Punjab?
No.
Because it's always Punjab farmer, Punjab farmer.
That's true.
Can you just talk about that?
Sir, we have been, from the government of Punjab, we have been telling Delhi people.
No, but the state of Punjab has never supported the Punjab farmer in this.
No, we have been supporting. State of Punjab is supporting on the basis, sir, because we introduced a study. We asked our Institute of ICER here in Mohali to conduct a study as to how much is the percentage of the role of paddy burning.
But your studies is all right, but what is the result on the ground, at the ground level? Nothing.
Sir,
you can study, write thesis, write a huge amount of whatever you want to, but at the ground level, it's absolute zero.
Paddy burning, sir?
Yes.
No, paddy burning.
It's only because you put fines last year, you put people in jail last year, that this happened. That's why.
From my summation is from 2016, the number of incidents have started reducing. Various efforts have been made by the state government. It's not reduced over a period of time. It has evolved over a period of time.
We are not indicting the state here.
Yes, sir. Sir, the only issue I need to tell as to how the farmers over a period of time has stopped burning their crop, because there are three issues at point. One is the awareness. Lot of awareness has been created. Now every farmer knows that paddy burning, this stubble burning is harmful to him only. Sir, Delhi to aa jaan to ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਫੇਫੜਿਆਂ ਚੋਂ ਨਿਕਲ ਕੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਸਾਫ਼ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਨਾ ਜੀ. So the first victim is the farmer himself. So he is fully aware.
So are you suggesting we should dismiss this petition? Delhi should, and instead of Haryana, should come there.
That's true, sir. But the issue is, I have to, the basic issue is, I have to tell from the farmer's perspective of Punjab and from the government perspective that this is a crop which was thrust upon Punjab because the nation wanted. Because today also, we are giving 25% of rice in the national kitty. We have a 2.5% area, geographical area, but we are contributing 25% in the national kitty because nation needs it. Now, this year, the temperatures are very high. The whole of the nation is jittery as to what will happen with the food security.
Jittery? Well, they'll have to starve.
Yes, sir. It will take...
Stop eating biryani. Have dal pulka. Anyway, I think we move on to cross-examination.
Another question. Last question.
Last question.
Last question. Is the proposed declaration of right to nature implementable in current situation for the government?
Yes, it has to be implemented because there was time when the development was affecting the environment. Now even the environment has started affecting the development because of so many hurricanes, so many droughts, so many, all these things. So nature has to be the mainstay of all policy making because farming, if we tell about farming happens in nature only.
That's all.
Cross-examination.
Please, my lords.
My lord, may I just ask one question before?
Okay, one question
Mr.
from
Pannu, only one question. Is it true that it's because of the government that rice growing was promoted in Punjab? And what effect has it had, other than stubble, on the subsoil water of the state?
Yes, yes. Because the major issue in paddy cultivation is the depleting water table rather than stubble burning. Because the water table has depleted to such an extent that our Central Groundwater Board has just given a report that the whole of the underground water in Punjab will finish in next 15 years. So that that will affect the total civilization, what to talk of, and the national security of food. So that is true.
I think with regard to our stubble burning or paddy, we have sort of reached an unanimous conscience for all of us. But my question would be with regard to the environment and the policies of the state, basically. Do you agree with me? We all are, I am a resident of Chandigarh. I think you are also a resident of Chandigarh. We don't have any springs and autumn anymore. We have summer and winter. Do you think that our environment has reached that stage of emergency?
If not emergency, but it's a very serious state.
It is in seriousness, sir. So, I mean, with regard to the current model of administration as exists on paper today, do you suggest that it needs an entire holistic outlook change or a drastic revision of the entire policy design? Kindly elaborate on that, sir.
You see, the nature at the national level and the international level, its importance was felt not very far off in the history. It was in only 1972 that first UN conference on environment happened, and as a result of which our constitution was changed in 1973, 1974, where Article 51 was changed, Article 253 was changed, and so many things happened. Now the environment is in the center of all the decision making of the state, like
the constitutional amendment, are you sure it was not due to any political developments at that time? Or
sir, we were signatory to 1972 UN Convention. So that convention mandated that the states, every country will have its own laws related to our Water Act, which is the first act on pollution, water control, prevention of Pollution Act on water. It was enacted in 1974. And then Air Act was enacted in 1981. Environment Protection Act was enacted in 1984. So it was because we were signatory to it, so therefore we changed all the laws. So that happens. Although in religion and in society, these things were very old.
No, sir, my question was, in fact, actually, I'll give you a context right now. You are saying that policies are being implemented in a manner which government wants to. Do you know the situation at Joshimath right now? The reports from 1980s exist with the government, and government-sponsored research are there.
Nothing to do with the subject we have. Joshimath is something else entirely.
So I am trying to make a point that the government policies are basically unaware about
Rather, you confine yourself to your brief.
Please, Malad.
Which is stubble burning.
Malad, it's also the rights of naturehood, and that is why I am asking these questions, sir.
Right of nature, correct.
Yes.
Why don't you agree to the right of nature?
I am pleading for that, sir.
You're pleading for that?
Yes, sir. Yes. So, in my opinion, sir, for example, sir, I would really want to take your opinion on the implementation of environment impact assessment norms. Our expert witness today has deposed before this court that they are not properly followed.
No, environment impact assessment laws are being properly followed because there are various methods. In fact, they are saying that environment assessment, impact assessment is not being done. Yes, it's being done. But at the time of the total decision making of environment impact assessment at Government of India level or state level, at whatever level it is to be decided, then various factors are also to be taken into consideration. Development and the sustainable development and nature, all these things have to be seen. The livelihood, the employment, the poverty, all these factors have to be taken into consideration before final decision is taken on any project. It was in Punjab only that Matewada, which textile park was being made. It was only at the level of the people that they objected, and that project was shelved.
I think,
Please, sir.
Mr. Pannu, we are running out of time, and you've been very...
I'll relieve my witness, Manoj, with that. Obliged.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we have concluded the recording of the evidence of witnesses. So now, can we have the closing statements, please? First from the Petitioners' Council and then from the respondents.
Well, 2 points were raised before this Honorable Tribunal today. One was with regard to the stubble burning, and that a stern action is required to be taken by the state to implement absolute prohibition on the stubble burning, Maharaj. One, with regard to its harms, if I may refer to a report, annexure P3. Well, kindly have page 99 of my paper book, my lords. Page 98, my lords, there's a bullet point about biomass burning. Now, in this report, for the context, my lord, the issue of stubble burning has been covered under the topic of biomass burning itself. The report reads, as under on page 98, the enhanced concentration in October-November is possibly due to the effect of post-monsoon crop residue burning. The CRB should be minimized, if not completely stopped. All biomass burning in Delhi should be stopped and strictly implemented. Managing crop residue burning in Haryana, Punjab, and other local biomass burning is important. Potential alternatives to CRB energy production, biogas generation, commercial feedstock for cattle, composting, conversion in biochar, raw material for industry, my lords. So as far as this is a government-approved report prepared by IIT Kanpur on all scientific basis, there are proper scientific models which have been followed in this report, my lords. So my case with regard to stubble burning stands established. The state hasn't been able to produce any credible witness with regard to its abolition as such and their steps. These answers that it is being reduced to an extent, my lords, it's a fact that this production of stubble is in fact 1.5 more than the crop itself in the per acre area, my lords. So if
we would stop you,
my lords.
There was no contest on a point that stubble burning is bad.
Please, my lord.
We have the government in fielding its witnesses talking about how they have the policies in place where they have reduced how it has happened over a period of time. For farmers also, they don't make a case that they will not go through this stubble burning as a habit. They say now how they are economically impoverished by what is happening. So you'll have to cope with some bit of it. So therefore, you don't need to make an argument of the importance of banning stubble burning. You'll have to point out probably the way the implementation takes place, what has gone awry. That is what you should focus on, because otherwise we are convinced that there is an issue, point made for this.
My lord, my lord, there are directions from Honorable Supreme Court as well as this Honorable Tribunal from 2013, whereby the directives have been placed on the state to do the procedural checks and the periodical checks over this practice. Now there's defense right now today before this tribunal is that it is being reduced. Lords, if that has been reduced, then why this problem is subsisting every year, that we are having an air quality index more than 500 at every season we are facing this difficulty in Delhi. So my submission before this honorable.
That's why it was, in fact, even your witness was prepared to accept that it's in terms of percentage, it's probably about 17, 18% or something like that. There are large, higher percentage of pollutants which have to be taken care of. You're now targeting probably the most vulnerable group. You're not prepared to take on big industries, how they pollute, the automobile industry, what they're trying to do, the petroleum. So many other carbon...
My lords, I am a concerned citizen, and being a citizen to draw an ambit for the case before this Honorable Tribunal, my lords, this problem is forefront, occurring at every season, my lords. The pollution pertaining to that rest of the 75% of the factors which my lords have just highlighted, my lords, they are also a problem for us, but this one problem is recurring every year.
In Delhi then, because we were talking about it, how we have green corridor here in Chandigarh of what you can't trap any of those. And we have a problem in Delhi. You have all those high-rise constructions having come up like that, unmindful of how things can, how this smoke can get trapped within the city. So you have a problem of town planning, city planning as the cause for what you are facing there than what the farmers are.
They are there, in fact, and that's what I'm saying, that state, as far as its actions are concerned, my lord, these statements with regard to reduction in the policy or the implementation policy, they are nothing but the populist statements, my lord.
Don't go up, these constructions can't come. You won't go high-rise. You are not prepared to talk.
It's the state. My lord, it's the state policies allowing that. I am being a citizen of the state itself only. I am saying
your concerned action against any of those.
My lord, there are again directives by this Honorable Tribunal in various decisions given by the Supreme Court as well, my lord.
On this only now.
Yes. So my case precisely is, my lord, that directives of this Honorable Tribunal with regard to the case of stubble burning, had they been followed, they must have showed some impact on ground, my lords. But that is not the case, that these are basic populism statements being made that we are doing our bit. Had that bit been done, the effect would have been apparent on all front of us, my lords. My lord, with regard to my second leg of my petition, which is a very important bit, which I am trying to impress and take it out in form of statements from my witnesses also, is with regard to the rights of nature. My prayer is that rights of nature must be declared as a part of the framework of Article 21 of the Constitution of India, my lords, with I take cue from a very important judgment, my lords, T.A. Godavra, my lords. I kindly have page 35 of my paper book, my lords. My lord, this judgment, where I have quoted T.N. Godavram versus Union of India.
Who was the honorable judge?
My lord, I am not aware of the judge who delivered this judgment right now, my lords.
Godavram is carrying on for the last 30 years.
Yes, my lords.
So different judges keep.
My lords, this judgment, why this judgment I am quoting here is, my lords, the stress which is given by Honorable Supreme Court to the anthropocentric and ecocentric model, the difference which has been brought up by the Supreme Court, which resonates till this date, my lord. That is, if I may read these words, which are very important, my lords. My lords, the para 30, the public trust doctrine developed in MC Mehta versus Union of India also meant to ensure that all humans have equitable access to natural resources, treating all natural resources as property and not life. That principle also has its roots in anthropocentric principle. Precautionary principle and polluter pay principle affirmed by our court in Velo Citizen Forum versus Union of India are also based on anthropocentric principle. Since they also depend on harm to humans as a prerequisite for invoking these principles, the principle of sustainable development and intergenerational equity too presupposes the higher needs of humans and lay down that exploitation of natural resources must be equitably distributed between the present and future generations. Environmental ethics behind those principles were human need and exploitation, but such principles have no role to play when we are called upon to decide the fate of an endangered species or need to protect the same irrespective of its instrumental value. Here comes the important bit, Lord, which I want to highlight. Anthropocentrism considers humans to be the most important factor and value in the universe and states that humans have greater intrinsic value than other species. Resultantly, any species that are of potential use to humans can be reserved to be exploited, which leads to the point of extinction of biological reserves. Further, that principle highlights human obligations towards the environmental arising out of instrumental, educational, scientific, cultural, recreational, and aesthetic values that forests have to offer to humans. Under this approach, the environment is only protected as consequence of and to the extent needed to protect human well-being. On the other hand, we have ecocentric approach to the environment stresses the moral imperatives to respect intrinsic value, independence, and integrity of all forms of life. Ecocentrism supports the protection of all life forms, not just those which are of value to humans or their needs, and underline the fact that humans are just one among the various life forms on the earth. Now, taking cue from the words of Honorable Supreme Court, a similar concept of naturehood has been evolved, and Vide Annexure P5 is an example of T. Uruwe Act. It's in New Zealand, Lord, this river, T. Uruwe River, has been now provided under the guardianship of a board dedicated, comprising of basically the local communities living there, who will be in charge of taking care of its health, my lords.
Maybe pause for 5 minutes at this stage, please. Let's pause now.
We will take a 5-minute break. Please continue to be seated.
So you may continue, Harish, but please be brief. 5 minutes.
Please, my lords.
That's all you have.
Please, my lords. I will. My lord, these words of Honorable Supreme Court, which I have just read, my lord, they resonates with in various other judgments of various other Supreme Courts of Bangladesh. In one decision has given recognition to a river as its own, belonging to the naturehood, my lords. That idea has been implemented upon that. A separate board, the guardianship of that river has been given to the local communities, the tribal communities who live by the river, and all developmental activities around that river decision would be taken by the local communities. Like perhaps, if I may say, that this problem of stubble burning would not have existed had that bottom to top approach would have been taken. The local communities, the solution from them, the environmental concerns of local communities, had they been taken in the manner they should have been taken, this stubble burning even would not have been a bigger problem with the state itself only, my lord. So within this right to naturehood, my lords, how I presume that this model can be implemented, our constitution provides a very impressive setup of local governments. Article 243, giving relevance to local panchayats, local municipal bodies. Now, my lords, with regard to when it comes to setting up big projects, now Mr. Pannu in his statement has said that in fact the government had withdrawn that textile park, my lords. But that point has to be countered with the fact, my lord, that it was after much protest by the farmers that textile park was actually decided to be withdrawn. Why in the first place that was taken up, my lords? That is where the state is faltering. because the local communities are not finding their places. And thus, I want to argue that the rights of nature in its effect, as far as an Indian context would mean giving power to the lowest ebb of the administration. That is, the local community should have a say in bigger projects. We recently had the example of a Zira factory, an alcohol factory, which eventually has been, after much protest and much litigation, has now been withdrawn. But that would not have...
If the sarpanches have the rights to decide on these issues, what will the poor MLA do?
My lords, I'm not saying Sarpanch, my lord. The Gram Sabha has a bigger, and there is an entire setup of administration under the Gram Panchayats Act. It's not only the Sarpanch who is lead, it's entire Gram Sabha which has to take decision. Mostly Gram Sabhas are not convened by Panchayats, my lord. So I am saying, lord, the local participation has to be more strengthened, and that can only be done, my lords, if this naturehood concept is brought within the ambits of Article 21 itself only, to be recognized. This nature and humans, they are equals. They can't be treated as two separate entities with regard to their own rights of guardianship. That will be my statement.
I think rights of nature, you've made out a good case.
Yes,
but how will it work in actual practice? That is still to be seen, isn't it?
My lords, it can work like that. We had this idea of sustainable development. We never envisaged that. I am saying let us first try to recognize it, and then implementation, I am saying our constitution provides for that model. And a good governance of model, if I propose that, my lords, would be to start from Article 243, because it provides a local governance model. Let the EIA confirmation being made by one Central Pollution Control Board, let the say of local governments in that project be heard in a sound manner, and they should be implemented. If the local community is saying at large that this project must not be passed, that project must not be passed, my lord. And that is where I am saying, in Indian context, since it's a diverse country, with regard to the diversity of this country only, this model is workable, is practical, and this is the need of the hour. My lord, Joshimath, as I was quoting in that, my lord, a report from 1970s and 80s exists, which said that this development being undertaken in Joshimath, this position could have been avoided, which you are facing in 2023. It was government sitting upon that report itself only, my lord.
Just 1 minute.
My lords.
You have not even argued that point. Therefore, I take it that the question of awarding damages against the government does not arise. For it is trying to say at all times, and you have seen the witnesses also speaking about that, about how the policies are in place, that they are doing everything, they're giving the documents of what they've given, the kind of support that they have given for improving the lot of the farmers, the kind of expenditure that they have incurred. Why any compensation?
My lord, damages, if I may say, damages for the reason the judgments as pronounced by this Honorable Court, directives being flouted by the state by not following. Since 2013, we are not seeing solution to the problems in near future.
Actually, probably Supreme Court has awarded damages at various times. NCT has, we have ordered damages at other times. Do these damages, imposition of damages?
I'm not, my lords, I'm not asking this cost for our personal petitioners' benefit. I am saying this cost being imposed upon the state would be used in the restoration program for the environment itself only, my lords. And as far as the damages from the farmers are concerned, my lords, after hearing the witnesses, I think I would withdraw my prayer to impose any cost upon the farmers itself only. But still, the stubble burning as a practice has to be taken seriously, and an absolute prohibition has to be imposed. And other than that, my lords, my prayer is to declare and rights of nature as a part of Article 21 of the Constitution of India, my lords.
From this side, who will lead the arguments? Mr. Serene.
With your lordship's permission, my lord, I would like to close by saying that my learned friend has been very kind to give up his claim for special costs because of stubble burning. But he must bear in mind that it was the government's policies that led us to shift to growing rice, which produced stubble. So if we burn it, they complain about it. But they don't complain about it when they sit on a dining table and eat the rice we produce. We are not only feeding them, we are feeding the members of parliament, we are feeding the members sitting in the assembly, sitting in the judiciary, and all of them. They never say, thank you, you're feeding the nation. But they will say, you are burning stubble, so punish him. So my argument is outright it should be dismissed. As far as the second point is concerned, that the rights of nature should be made a part of Article 21 of the Constitution as a part of the right to life and liberty. We are sitting under the open hand. And we had a visionary who designed our city beautiful. And when he designed this, he came out with this monument to say, man is always sticking his hands out to nature and saying, give me more, give me sunshine, give me rain. And that is the sunshine and rain which gives the farmer the right to produce the crop. Now, this is a memorial to that farmer and to nature that it is open to receive and open to give. If we remember this, that whatever we receive, that is a rice, we must also give something in return. So if we follow this natural old policy followed by our forefathers of multiple cropping, just produce enough so that the soil is replenished and it gets its enough nutrients again to keep on producing. We have forgotten that. We are producing so much just for the sake of commercial value.
And inspire some political party also. Did this happen?
It would. I wish it would. That is my respectful submission, that rights of nature, it is not only necessary, it is essential for the survival of human race because of what we are seeing happening globally. Fires in California, floods in Europe, earthquakes in different places. Nature is showing its disenchantment with human activity. That is my prayer. The petition should be dismissed outright. I'm grateful for the
Thank you very much, Mr. Serene. And Ms. Mannat.
Please, my lord. As it is an established fact that there has been decline in stubble burning, which has been established by farmers witness Mr. Randeep, and states witness Mr. Pannu. Also, my lord, may kindly have page 77 of government's response, wherein there is a data of the active fire event counts. Since there is reduction, the only question arises that why there isn't absolute eradication. One of the major reason is the culture. Agriculture is not, the stubble burning is not only a vocation, but also has become culture for farmers. Since many years, they have been following this culture, and to change the culture, it takes time. Lord, the government has constituted the commission, the government has been allocated funds, the commission has given 39,000, has established 39,000 of CHC, the government has been giving machineries to the farmers, there is extensive awareness program that has been conducted, then why it stopped? Well, Lord, the answer to this, I would say that you can bring horse to the pond, but you can't force a horse to drink the water. Here we have provided, every farmer, as established by Mr. Pannu, every farmer is aware what are the side effects of stubble burning, because they are the first sufferer of the stubble burning, because they burn it and they face it. So they know it, but why aren't they doing it? It is only because the rigidity comes in picture and the cultural drawbacks. My lord, if we speak about the conservation of the nature, my lord, the phenomena is very recent. There are, my lord, Air Act like 1981, Environmental Protection Act 1986, which are the common basis of these two legislation, is the UN conference that held in Stockholm. My lord, the phenomena is very recent, and the recognition of conservation of environment is very recent. And the approach of the government is very progressive towards it. And they aim at sustainable development, and that is how the laws and policies are coming into picture. They are not negating the fact that nature should be separated. They are including it into their laws. But the only problem is that the society is dynamic. It is very difficult to implement it. Even if we speak about NGT, it is also a wing of government. The government, my lord, the NGT is imposing fines not only on the violators, but also on the government itself. Judiciary is taking active part in deciding the environmental crisis. Not only this, there are control board, my lord, and also There is environment assessment, the environment impact assessment policy. According, my lord, it has been, as Mr. Pannu has rightly said, it is very effective. The biggest example is the Zira factory, which was closed down by the control board itself. My lord, and also, my lord, not only this, the government is also allocating funds. If we see this year's budget, they have allocated 3,030 crores for the economic crisis, out of which 460 crores is for air pollution. Change cannot happen overnight. It takes time. There is also responsibility on the citizen. My lord, Article 51AG of the Indian Constitution Act clearly says that casts a duty on the citizen to protect and improve natural environment. The need of the hour is that there should be a collective action for the implementation of the policy. There is no problem in laws and policies. There is only problem in how it is not 100% foolproof. It is only if there is a collective approach.
What would you say to the submission from this side that Article 243 and devolution of powers to the local bodies will help? Would you be agreeable to do that?
No, my lord. My lord, let me make contention. My lord, to some extent, it is for the benefit. But if the local bodies, first of all, there is no uniformity in the social dynamic. My lord, if we bring local bodies into the picture, which we are already there, it is not the fact that they are not involved. They are involved. But if they are 100% involved, then it will only create chaos. Because everybody has a different thinking. And my lord, even if eventually it will be beneficial for the society itself if they are included. But my answer to it would be partially yes. And also, my lord, if we speak, last contention, my lord, if we speak about the effectiveness about the government's policy, the decline in stubble burning speaks volumes, because it is only because of the awareness that they have created and the preventive measure and the regulatory measures that they have been taking that the stubble burning has been declined. That's all.
Thank you very much.
The judges are now ready to pronounce their decision.
For me, to be sitting among such intelligent and wise young men and women as a member of a pseudo tribunal is an honor for someone who stepped on from there to here. That was 14 years ago. At that time, I thought I knew everything. I was a Mr. Sab Kuch Janta Wala, like most of my colleagues. But there were some exceptions. My two learned brothers sitting here. Now, Justice Bhalla is a well-known expert on land laws. He knows everything about land, what grows on land, how land is purchased, sold, divided, managed, controlled. And what anyone in the bench did not know, one asked Justice Kannan because he knows everything else. So it's been a great evening, and I've come to realize that I know very little, next to almost nothing, about these concepts like sustainable development, all the guiding principles, the doctrines like environmental equity, intergenerational equity, public trust doctrine, polluter pays principle, and so on. And we have, of course, very learned judgments from High Court, Supreme Court and the High Courts, and also provisions of the Constitution. So everything is mostly covered. And so what remains is that to examine in the light of all the judgments and all the doctrines, whether stubble burning should be banned or some cost should be imposed. But to begin with, I would say that the rights of nature are there. They have to be recognized, they must be respected, and we must bow to nature, and we must understand that nature is telling us something, and we must be eternally grateful for what nature has bestowed upon us. Simple things like water we drink, the food we eat. Nature has given us everything. It has given us a home, which is the planet Earth. There is no denying that we are facing climate change. Its impact is being felt on every aspect of our lives. We are beginning to see declining water tables, melting glaciers, extreme climatic events, floods, earthquakes, droughts. With this, we shall be seeing rising unemployment, falling economic growth, all directly or indirectly result of climate change. Now, the petitioners have essentially taken two different pleas, and on their basis, they are principally seeking two reliefs: ban on stubble change and declare rights of nature as an integral part of right of life. But the difficulty I see is reliance on one solitary example of an unhealthy practice to demonstrate the violation of rights of nature and the need to constitutionally recognize rights of nature as right to life. The example of health hazards faced by the people of Delhi on account of stubble burning in Punjab and Haryana and the call for complete ban on stubble burning are not supported by any deep socio-economic study of what the real problem is. Here many questions arise. Why do farmers sow paddy when rice is not their staple food? Why do farmers use so much water to grow paddy when groundwater is going down? Why do farmers get crops harvested by machines which leave a foot-high stubble? Why are farmers in such a hurry to burn the stubble instead of waiting for it to decay naturally? There is no doubt a case has been made out and ably built up for banning stubble burning because people in the cities are falling sick. But stubble burning in Punjab is not the only sole cause for the pollution in Delhi. And this is only one side of the picture, not the whole picture. Scientists and environmentalists and economists and philosophers are unanimous that we have entered the Anthropocene age, the geological age in which human activity has started to have very long-lasting, damaging and irreversible influence on Earth. Every type of human activity, every act of man, be it producing or consuming electric power, building dams or rivers, on rivers diverting their waters for irrigation, drawing subsoil water, building highways, tunnels, driving cars have a detrimental effect on the environment. The framework of environmental laws, as it stands, has a vacuum for all rights of nature. The dire state of environmental environment exists as described in the paras, it clearly implies ineffective implementation of the provisions to ensure nature's integrity and freedom to flourish, as the same are being implemented in furtherance of a human-centered idea of development, is an erroneous anthropocentric approach to the development in the Supreme Court case which you relied upon. So we need to take a long-term, a very long-term look for the solutions to protect human and animal species, fish, birds, trees, if civilization, as we know it, is to survive. We shall have to make sacrifices to save coming generations from the ill effects of rising pollution, spreading epidemics and modern wars, global warming. All these are going to hit us hard. So I would say that rights of nature must be recognized, must be protected, and doing so will help us to save the planet. But one nice thing I want to say about this venue is that we are not using too much power. Otherwise, it may have been in some air-conditioned courtroom, and it's would have not been very friendly to environment. But a better alternative would have been to sit by a paddy field under a peepal tree and listen to the farmers and ask them what their problems are and why are they growing paddy in the first place, and why do they burn the stubble? And you would have found that farmers are very interested in expressing the point of view. They're very expressive, very intelligent, and very concerned. And they would willingly step forward and stop stubble burning voluntarily, and would not require somebody from Delhi to come and tell them, or somebody from the tribunal to go and, tell them to stop. So we are in the grip of a great crisis. Stubble burning is there. It will go away slowly. It's not the only cause for pollution, but the bigger thing we must do is protect nature and recognize the rights of nature and introduce them in the fundamental rights. Thank you.
Justice Grewal, and thank you for those compliments. To both of us, I would say, to me and Justice Khanna. What I'm going to say may not sound like a judgment, which may even sound a little political and may even sound maybe like a speech, but I'll try and keep it as short as possible. We are but one species on this planet, and remember, just one amongst the billions of species. And what we are doing to Earth is to push it to an extreme that it's begun to react every day whether in warming or in hurricanes or in fire or in some manner or the other. And we must remember there's one article of faith which I try to live by, and that is that we are residents of this earth and not its owners. This may sound like a little speech, but then that's what I think we must all learn from today's session. Stubble burning, now coming to stubble burning. We indict, now this is the part of the judgment actually. We indict the policymakers of this country or this state who look at farmers only as a tool to provide food security, but do not provide security to the farmer. Now you may all think farmers are very rich, and well, we find lots of farmers at the golf club also, but those are gentlemen farmers. Sorry for any gentleman farmer over here. I don't mean to say it in the manner I've said it, but the idea is that farming is not a profession that is economically viable anymore. and I say it on condition of authority from people who farm. So what we do is, we are only interested in the food that lands on our table, and we're not bothered about the farmer. And moment there's a little bit of pollution, and the eyes in Delhi begin to stream with the fumes of a little bit of added stubble burning, we start blaming the farmer. The farmer becomes the villain of the piece. And what do? We enact laws that impose fines on that very farmer who feeds you. We've even gone to the extent of jailing some of them. Please correct me if I'm wrong. We've even gone to the extent of demonizing the farmers. And yes, there is stubble burning. I don't deny it. And I don't deny the need also to close it and to stop it. But at the same time, today we must issue a direction from this podium that the other 70% who pollute this country day in and day out must also face the same fines, must also face the same scrutiny, and don't indict only the farming community. That's the order I would like to pass. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Brother Karan.
I think all of us are unanimous on one aspect, that the farmers of who feed us, we can't really do anything to punish them. It will be wholly wrong as a matter of principle, as a matter of morality, as a matter of even exigency, to find that it is the farmer's actions which are creating problems to us. So do we ban stubble burning? Perhaps not yet. We have not arrived to a stage where banning would become completely possible. But then there are so much of technological improvements which are gaining ground, and that will make possible in course of time for adopting some methods by which an immediate removal of what is staying there as stubble, that is done. And then there could be, if there is burning taking place, douse them could also be there. There are recommendations such as alarm bells happening, alarm towers being kept. Now we are talking about drone technology, how much of investigation is possible, how much of water spraying is possible. All that can take place over a period of time. But one good feature about the whole case as we traverse through the evidence, through the pleadings, is this, that this is not really a case of adversarial litigation where persons are trying to assert on one side a particular thing which is denied by the other. All of us are uniform, all the parties are saying the same thing. Therefore, the prayers of what are sought for, such as to declare the rights of nature as integral to Article 21 of the Constitution, to declare the rights of nature as part of the constitutional scheme of rights and duties towards the environment and the right to life under Article 21. We declare them, and we declare them because there is really not a contest from either party. It's not merely a case of a declaration coming from us that requires so much as some emphasis driven, for they're all declared so in some sense through decisions of the Supreme Court and the NGT, and we are reaffirming the same principle. We are glad again to what the counsel for the applicant did, that there is no claim for damages which is making against the farmers. Now, there is a very interesting passage from our court, Punjab and Haryana. I was sitting here in this court not to recognize what our court has said would be grossly unfair. Therefore, allow me to say what in a judgment I saw recently seemed an exceedingly interesting passage, and I'm tempted to quote that and for the benefit of persons who may not have seen. This is what the court has said. It has to be understood that a farmer feeds a nation, taking the language of what Mr. Sarin was saying, and therefore Holding him responsible alone would not be a relishable idea. The issue, therefore, has to be seen from the perspective of where the society and the government, who are the beneficiaries of the industrious activity of a farmer, take. What will they do if it is not for the farmer, is what the question, the judges would ask. And then they would go on to say, where they said, if let us look at just not the farmer, that we need other persons. We need proactive measures by providing solutions to a farmer, which are affordable and readily available, and thus save both the farming community as well as the general public from the hazards ensuing the polluting activity of burning straw. This is important because in today's scenario, the agricultural land is not remotely situated, but exists on fringes of the towns and cities, and therefore any prejudicial activity being practiced there is not likely to keep itself confined to the remoteness of a village, but is likely to permeate to the adjoining towns and cities. So appropriate and correct. For a long time, it used to be our imagination, the distant villages. Not any longer so. We have the villages immediately. Where is our new Chandigarh going? Where is it, any new city happening? We are all adjoining villages. So therefore, in that coexistence of not merely to see as what probably in the course of heat of arguments or presentation coming through, that there is a rural and urban divide is what is the problem. On the other hand, we are seeing an emergence of a situation, a rural becomes an urban person, an urban rural environment and their attitudes. So therefore, in the marriage of these communities of people lies development. And we had excellent witnesses who were brought. We would be thankful to both the parties of fielding witnesses who matter a lot. In our decision to what we say, we surely recognize every one of them. The witnesses who are coming to present themselves in an attire to bring sustainable development as a theme. Somebody who plays a card game to explain the travels of the farmers in India, or wherever they existed, and how the policies of government do not really help. Or a filmmaker who presents the true life, a rural life in India. All these persons, and a bureaucrat who, though retired, still speaks for the government and for the nation, who says about the policies that are being taken, which are truly driven through national interest. So we have not come to a stage where we see this problem as in any adversarial situation. All of us are, we sing the same language, we sing the same tune, we want development happening. We want the world to be seeing us in a light which is different. And if there are problems that exist for farmers, it is our nation that must respond. It is just not pointing out fingers at any one community as causing the problem, but as persons with whom we'll work and ensure that the problem which is facing is surely to be seen as a national problem which will be addressed with enormous concern. So we affirm the rights of what the claimants is asking. We will direct the government to do things of what have come through various directions of what my brother judges already made references to. So we conclude with warm wishes to everyone here and to the counsel who presented the case with such objectivity. And if there is ultimately a decision which seems like a compromise settlement, it is because that is the way the case was presented. Thank you very much. We close.
May I request your permission to please close the proceedings?
Yes.
May I request you all to please rise?
Enactment of the National Green Tribunal hearing ends. Crossfades stage lights and house lights.